I screwed up.
Show's not over.
Show's not over.
Cavendish potatoes. Let's find out more.
No, I gotta shout something out. So, 2 LFRs ago, I made the Marner jar, which we talked about.
Yeah, which was awesome.
Yeah, the Marner jar, it's this fictitious jar that I made where you got to donate. You got to put $1 in the jar every time you complain about Marner doing something awesome because you're worried that his contract's going to be too much money. So sometime on Saturday night, I got a message from someone named Ross Chambers actually registered the marnerjar.com. They made a website. They must know the shit because they made it instantly. So the marnerjar.com, and they came up with the idea themselves that all the money donated to the Marner jar should go to sick kids. So they made the marnerjar.com, contacted sick kids. It's all above board and everything. All the money does go to sick kids. So far, in about a day and a half, we've raised $2,529.
Wow.
For sick kids because of the Marner jar. So themarnerjar.com if you want to donate to sick kids. Jesse, when's this podcast going to be up? Roughly.
Like 4?
Okay.
Take like an hour to upload.
So if you hear this in 2018, and you donate...
Which most people, well, the beginning listeners will.
Yeah. So if you hear this in 2018 and you donate right away, your donation will be doubled.
Oh.
So before the end of the year.
Yeah, before the end of the year, which you only have a few hours. So if you're thinking about doing it, do it right away.
Done.
And people looking for tax breaks, you got a couple hours left.
Yeah, you do get a tax receipt. You do get a tax receipt. Here, maybe you should put this at the beginning of the show.
All right.
Okay.
This is now the beginning,
All
everyone.
Right. My bad, everybody.
Welcome to the beginning.
Enjoy the show.
Which we haven't done yet.
Nope.
No.
Okay.
Panico Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
Before anything else.
What?
Before anything else.
What?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Secondly.
That's nice.
Secondly, the fucking Steelers. I just want to say that. That's all I'm going to say. I know this isn't a football show, but the fucking Steelers.
I was checking in on Twitter periodically.
Oh, so upset.
I don't know about football. I don't know what happened.
Let me just put it to you this way. Imagine you,
me,
your playoff hopes hinge on the
hopes.
Edmonton Oilers winning a game in the last game of the season.
Ooh.
That's what they did. It was up to the Cleveland Browns to get them in.
Oh, no.
If Cleveland had won, the Steelers won, which they did.
Yeah.
And Cleveland made it close.
But Cleveland had to win.
But it's Cleveland.
How many wins does Cleveland have? I thought they were good now.
I think they're like, what are they, 5-12 or 5-11, or they're not.
That's like really good by their
for
standards,
them. Yeah,
though.
Baker Mayfield's like a guy that you can build a team around for sure. But I mean, it's like it would be like the Leafs with Nylander and not Marner and Matthews.
Oh, so the Leafs 3 years ago.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like that's not a playoff team. I don't even know what their record is, but it's better than it was. It's better when they didn't win a game.
Yeah, I was about to say, didn't they just not win a few times?
For sure.
Like more than one?
I have a football question.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Can we do this now?
Yes,
Yeah,
Jesse.
let's do it now.
Happy to answer it for you.
All right.
I hope it's trivia for Steve.
Quarterback for the Washington Redskins, Josh Johnson.
Totally. Could have told you that myself.
On, I guess, pregame or Saturday or whatever, 4 days ago-ish, they asked him, hey, how did you spend your Christmas? And Josh Johnson says, I spent it watching film. He said, I see my family all year round, and I play football for these months of the year, and I have to do my job, and I have to watch film because I have a game on Sunday. Huh. So he spent Christmas last Tuesday watching film. This Sunday, he goes out, he plays the Philadelphia Eagles.
I know what happened.
The Washington Redskins lose 24-0. Josh Johnson.
Shutout in football.
He throws for 91 yards and 1 interception.
Okay, I know that's bad.
Obviously, 0 touchdowns because the Washington Redskins didn't score any points. So, what's your opinion on Josh Johnson skipping Christmas to watch film and then go out on Sunday and have one of the worst games a quarterback can ever have?
Imagine how bad it would have been if he weren't putting in the hours working on Christmas and not getting film in his stocking.
You know what?
I mean, It's just, I don't know. Should we slag the guy because the outcome was bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I think you're right. I think in this particular case, yeah, we do.
You might as well have gone to Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
If you're going to not do anything
What's
on the
difference
field.
between losing 36-0 and 24-0 in football?
You know
Also,
what?
Still nothing.
That's not, the other side isn't his problem.
No.
It's the zero.
It's the
It could have been
zero.
anything to zero.
The Philadelphia Eagles, the favorite team of all NFL players because of that. They're the favorite team because what if he won?
Oh,
Yeah.
What if he
Then
did
that would
amazing and
reinforce
won?
that,
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
there's a difference in life between working hard and working smart. And
I've seen that meme.
and I know that because I blew my brains out working for like 5 straight years on a million different jobs. And after a while...
5, Adam? That's it? 5?
After a while, you burn yourself out. And I think now, looking back, it was the right thing to do. But you also kind of go, there were some things I could have probably done smarter and still had yielded the same results.
Yeah.
I probably could have spent a few less hours, maybe a few more hours with the woman who decided to marry me anyway, thank God, because I was never home.
Cutely worded.
Honestly, I think that maybe you go to Christmas dinner, you enjoy your turkey, you have a great mindset. See, here's the thing. You can go over tape, but really, it's a 60-minute game. How much tape are you going to go over from the Philadelphia Eagles defense? And that okay, fine, you go over some tape. Spend the morning going over some tape, or spend the afternoon before turkey going over. And then you go to Christmas dinner, you make some jokes with Uncle Rocco, and you have some fun.
Uncle Rocco.
You don't have to drink any booze. Just have some protein, which the turkey dinner has. Have some steamed vegetables. So you're set up on your diet. You're good to go, and put yourself in a good mindset. You're in a happy place, Steven.
I love that you said Uncle Rocco because you know that's based in truth because I have an Uncle Rocco.
That's right.
So Uncle Rocco is the one uncle remaining who still buys gifts for all his nephews and nieces.
Aw.
Oh, that's cool. You still get them?
I do. And what's weird about Rocco is he doesn't really talk much, but he just always gets bomb gifts like every year.
What did you get this year?
A bottle of Hennessy.
Wow. What? Do you drink Hennessy?
I got it. I've never had Hennessy in my entire life.
That's
guess you gotta drink it now.
awesome.
I got a bottle of
You got the Henny.
Yeah.
I know. And now I can't drink it though because
Why
it
not?
looks too good on the liquor cabinet. I'm
No,
just
no.
like,
You
No, here's
need
the thing about
to.
Hennessy is they're making more of it.
You
Oh, are
need
they?
to
Oh,
go
good.
full J.R. Smith. You take off your shirt,
Yep.
run the streets with your bottle of Hennessy, and have a good time.
And then throw away a championship game
No,
one.
let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
Bottle of Hennessy. Uncle Rocco. It's just so funny that you brought him up
Well,
because
that
I've
is a
been.
bomb gift. What did he get Mrs. Dangle? Do you remember that? Or was the Hennessy for both of you?
Doesn't matter. I forgot. I was too deep into the bottle of
I
Hennessy.
have to be honest with you. The Hennessy for a couple would be more than enough for me as a gift. But I guess Rocco does it. He goes crazy.
Rocco is.
He's already started saving for next year's Christmas gifts.
You know, other uncles, step your game up.
Whoa.
I'm gonna go ahead and say
Call
it.
him out by name. Do it.
Domenico and Leonardo.
Are your uncles literally the Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, I know. And for Christmas, we eat his pizza. It's the strangest thing.
No, you eat pizza and pasta.
No, the correct answer is we have like 4 kinds of fish. Because that's what we do. On Christmas Eve, Italians eat the ocean. That's what we do.
And then you go to the Scottish Christmas Day.
And we drink.
What do you eat at Scottish Christmas? Is it any
They
different?
eat alcohol.
Yeah, we
that's true.
eat alcohol.
We have congealed alcohol. We have alcohol and everything.
We have alcohol in our coffee. We have beer alcohol. We have wine alcohol. We have, better get out the liqueurs. You ever had Drambuie?
Not for me.
It is
Not for me.
like whiskey. It's like a whiskey. Okay, Scottish people are going to be extremely upset at me, but it's like a whiskey cooler. It's too sweet for as strong as it is. It's a hangover in a bottle.
Yeah, well, because
And it's great.
any liqueur will give you the worst hangover you've ever had.
Yeah.
Which is why I did a liqueur hangover once on Bailey's, and we'll never do it again. Forget it. Never gonna happen. Gross.
Science says that that's not true. But I think that's bullshit.
Okay, what
I
is
think
science
there's
about
liqueurs
hangovers?
not?
No, it says any type of alcohol you consume, it's going to have the same effects as any other type of alcohol.
That's
so
not true.
they say even that thing of that, like, oh, when I have tequila, I feel this way. When I have vodka, I feel that way.
That's a
when
thing.
I have beer, I feel. That's totally a thing.
It's 100%
But
a thing.
they did some study to try and disprove this, and it came out that any alcohol is supposed to affect you in a neutral way, like it's just alcohol. But I think even if it's a placebo, placebos are a thing to the point that like placebos work in like 35% of studies.
Yeah.
So even if it's like, oh, I'm drinking tequila, I think I'm going to feel this way, and then you feel that way, that's still a thing.
It's still an effect.
Man,
So,
whiskey
fuck science.
hangovers are way worse.
Yeah,
to
it's
me.
a thing.
Yeah, and red wine.
I also think if alcohol is in a vacuum and it has the same effect, yeah, sure, that makes sense. But you're forgetting the fact of the sugar content, how it was made,
I'm
what
sure
it was
that's
made with, what
involved.
kind of preservatives it was made with. You can't tell me. That's like saying, well, Mars Bar and O. Henry Bar, they're still they're equally
it's all
they're
the
equally the
same.
same. Well, it's
Yeah.
not. It's
No.
not actually. It's one's made with peanuts and one's made with nougat or whatever that
that'll
is.
start a fist fight. If you say that, they're the same. What? Travis Yost kicks down the door. We're like, I didn't know you worked
He's got
here.
several Harvey's burgers with him.
He comes in with a plate and a fork and a knife, eating a slice of pizza. What are you guys talking about? Friggin' guy he's been slacking.
Nobody with
On
great
his food
hockey takes.
takes
has had worse food takes in the history of hockey
Yeah,
Twitter.
yeah.
Been slacking with his food takes.
Oh man, I hope he should just do a food podcast.
100%.
Like Travis Yost tries stuff.
Yeah.
And it's 10 minutes long, and he's tries something, and then he explains to you why it's bad, even though you know it's good.
Banned after 5 episodes for causing too many accidents. This guy doesn't know what he's doing.
Travis Yost doesn't like a steak.
Driving off the road.
I'd watch
Hey,
that.
Manny elk salad. Good.
Oh, that's so gross.
No. Travis thinks it's good.
No, he doesn't.
I made
Does he?
that up.
Oh, okay. Oh. Now, is that salad? Is that a Manny picture, or is that something that came from somewhere else?
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Manny elk-
I assume 90% of listeners have no idea what you guys are talking about.
I think they do.
I think they know what
it's
we're
this
I don't
weird,
think so.
It's this weird pocket of...
I'm sitting here as a member of this thing, and I don't know.
Okay.
That's true. Yeah, if you don't know a meme, that's true.
like-
That's true.
Okay.
Jesse doesn't know a meme. Like literally, all you got to do is type in Manny salad,
Yeah.
and it's just been
Type in Manny salad on Google.
yeah.
Do it right now. Do it along with us at home.
Yes,
On Google, not Twitter.
on Google.
Manny salad.
Well, Manny elk salad.
Manny elk
You
salad.
don't know him and his numbers, and also he's mostly a meme lord.
Also, his sarcastic
No.
tweets.
rather
Pretty
than
funny.
his
It just...
Anyway, he
On
tweeted
salad,
out
that's
this
ridiculous.
ridiculous salad.
Which I think wasn't that featured on like
It's part of
BuzzFeed,
hockey
like
Twitter
way
lore.
back, like the worst salad ever, Manny elk salad. I
It's
felt like I'd
his
seen it before.
it's his header image on Twitter.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah, it
Is that's the salad?
Yeah, it is.
See, like you guys, this is so niche.
This is the worst salad.
You guys are talking about like people know this damn salad.
They do know this damn salad. Tweet us if you know this damn
All
salad.
right, Jesse, you'll have to
No,
insert it
but
in
the
the
people
video.
who are gonna tweet, I mean, obviously know about the damn salad.
It's
Okay.
got
Yeah, if you go to Google Images and you type in Manny elk salad, then you
it
then
does
it's there.
come up, which is amazing. But like,
We got
But don't act like this is Infinity Ward. And you're like,
Everyone-
you've never heard of Infinity Ward? Never heard of this salad?
You don't know
Like-
Beyonce. Beyonce likes the salad.
All right.
So-
I get the salad.
this is disgusting.
This episode
it's
shall
got
be
black
called the salad.
blackberries, red onions that are chopped up thickly,
They are thick, so
cubes of marble cheese, spinach. What are those sprouts called that like are in a lot of Asian dishes? I can't think of them right now. The long yellow ones that are so good. They're crispy. Not in this salad.
Cheetos.
Not Cheetos, but you know what I'm talking about.
I forget.
It's got a bunch of different seeds in it. It's just the worst, and a lemon on the side. It's just so.
See, I support this because
No, you don't
support
I'm
this.
a big proponent of put whatever you like in a bowl and eat it. Like
Man.
that's what I do with my food a lot
Okay,
of the time.
what's your
It's
weirdest
not.
combination then?
It could just be anything. It should be okay. Here's some chicken and some whatever, and like if I just feel like avocado and some bacon, I'll eat it.
That
Because-
sounds amazing.
Yeah,
I would eat that.
But it's just whatever you like. I'm a big fan. If I want an apple and a banana and avocado and bacon, I'll put that in a bowl. I'll put it on a plate and I'll eat it.
So you're just Joey from Friends, like with the
I
half
hate
custard, the half trifle, half shepherd's pie. It's
Sure.
a terrible show.
Yes.
That's one line that I like, that I remember. What's not to like? Chocolate, good. Custard, good. Meat, good.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of it. Like, if I feel like chocolate and pizza, I'll just put it on my plate and eat them.
By the way, chocolate pizza, delicious. You ever had like Nutella
I've
pizza?
had a dessert pizza.
Oh, yeah, that's what
But
I'm
you know what
talking
I like better? Dessert. And also pizza.
Wow.
I would have a regular pizza for dinner and then a dessert pizza. This is such a year-end episode. I'm going to cut myself off right now.
Why?
It's just ridiculous.
This is a good conversation. I'm
It's
looking
just-
up. I'm trying to look up where that salad
I should
came
have
from.
just brought the Hennessy.
Manny, where did the salad come from? I want to know.
Manny, have you tried it?
Was it his salad?
I don't think it was Manny's salad.
I
no.
think
The original tweet says, about once a week, I think about the time somebody on Facebook posted this pic of a salad they made.
Yeah, this is that salad went viral originally, and it was like in 2012.
2016.
Was it? No, it had to be before that.
It was. I have the tweet. It was
original
tweeted.
tweet?
It was tweeted on July 26th.
Not Manny's tweet. The actual salad.
Oh, Manny's tweet was tweeted
Yeah,
July
yeah, no,
26th,
there's another-
2016.
Man,
There's another salad.
The shit we used to tweet about before Austin Matthews played in NHL.
Hold on. This whole time you've been crediting Manny Elk for this
Well,
salad
he's the one
tweet.
that's popularized it in hockey Twitter, but I'm pretty sure this
Wait,
went
who
viral
was it?
everywhere.
You said it wasn't him.
I don't think it's his salad. No.
No, it's not. It's not a salad that belongs to him.
No, but he said he saw. So he didn't originally see the salad on Facebook?
I don't believe so.
No,
I swear
I
I've
think-
seen that before.
No, I
Maybe
feel
maybe
like
I'm
it's
dreaming.
someone he knows. We need to have him on.
Yeah,
Is
man, we
this
gotta
not,
get Manny on.
so this 2016 tweet isn't the original.
no,
isn't the
it's
originator
not
of the
one.
salad.
No.
We need to get to
You
the
guys,
bottom of
reverse
this.
have
image search it
been
to
lying
find it.
this entire time.
Well,
This is my next book. We gotta find the maker of the salad.
And interview them.
Forward by Travis Yost.
It'll be like Ken Reed's books, but it'll be salad stories with Steve Dangle.
Salad, and I'm
Instead of
gonna
hockey
get
card.
Ken to narrate it.
There you go.
And I'm just gonna put a lot of like AR words in there, just to mess with his East Coasterness. Hey, Ken, read this out loud. What's a Charizard? And I'm getting like, that's all, Kenneth. Thank you.
So Leafs really sort of blew it versus the Islanders.
You think? It's okay though. The Leafs played the night before. Oh, the Islanders did too. Well, they
Yeah.
were just shit.
The thing is, like, I know that people were upset that the Leafs got booed throughout the game. I don't blame
were
any.
trash.
That they were trash, and what's trash about it is that this is John Tavares' team. Previously, he's come to Toronto,
And JT looked good. I thought.
He looked amazing. And he's come to Toronto. He's embraced the city. He's embraced what it is to be a Leaf. He's been a leader in the dressing room. And you guys couldn't pull out a better effort for him? That's the best you can do for this guy? Really? Now, honestly, I don't think Garrett Sparks had his best game either. But
Nah,
you
two
can't,
of them were deflections.
But you can't pin it on him. That's my point.
No, yeah. Well, that's what I was trying to argue is the team didn't score any goals. So it didn't matter if Sparks let in 1 or 9.
It doesn't matter.
You know,
yeah.
unless he gets a shutout, then he might get a rare shutout loss in the shootout. Like
a shutout loss in the shootout, yeah.
What was he supposed to do? Like, I just don't understand.
Score
There
the
were so
goals?
many players. Yeah, I know. There were so many players who were worse than Sparks. Man.
And to have Tavares, who is the most understated man in the history of the NHL, like when he signs with the Leafs, he's like, oh yeah, it's real nice.
Better not miss.
For him to say it's a punch in the gut,
Yeah.
that's a hell of a quote from John Tavares.
And for Barzal to score a hat trick. Like, man, when it rains, it pours with the Leafs when it comes to losses. Like, they got murdered by the Bruins a few years ago, I remember. And did Tyler Seguin have to score a hat trick? Did he have to? That guy, he's been good against the Leafs as a member of the Dallas Stars. But it's almost like when he got traded to the Stars, he lost his Leaf-killing powers. That guy, when he was a Bruin, Jesus Lord.
It was scary.
Because it had to sting. Had to be that way.
And the thing was, the Leafs were bad, the Bruins were good, and Seguin was one of their best.
Yeah.
And the Bruins blew it, because of course.
So, Sundin comes back to town with the Canucks. Oh, you bet your ass he got the game winner.
Peter Holland!
Peter Holland! Great example, Adam. Great. And it was written in stone.
Had to happen.
I got on TV for it. Because in the pregame, I go, how's he going to do it?
And
then he did it, and,
no
then
one
they
takes
showed
it
it after
seriously.
the game.
No one takes it seriously when you said it before the game.
They
though.
thought I was kidding. They think my yelling is ha-ha jokes. No, it's psychosis. Because I swear to God, it's a thing.
People do ask me if you're for real.
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, this is him, man.
Anyone who's ever, I think I've told this story before, but Game 1 against Boston, I made an absolute fool of myself in a restaurant. And this guy walks up to me, and I guess he had been planning on like saying hi, but he's like, "Oh, I'll let him watch the game." And then he heard enough screaming.
That's when you were doing that Rogers thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I was there, and
that's right.
you embarrassed everybody, and you embarrassed
so you can
SL
attest
in the
that this
entire
happened.
restaurant.
Yeah, and the guy comes over, he goes, "So this isn't like an act.
This is for real."
So this is for real."
That's
And I'm
amazing.
like, yes,
Yeah,
yes, it
because
is.
they were trying to film a Rogers commercial. Because they were giving some winners a trip to somewhere, or some tickets or something, and Steve kept yelling.
And that was the first time I met Caroline Sved.
Yes.
And the last time I met Caroline Sved.
She's probably put that in there on purpose.
So that guy's my coworker, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, no, it's a thing. And like, why did it have to be him? It could have, and there were so many candidates. It could have been him, Matt Martin, or Leo Komarov.
Yeah.
But
it was funny to see Leo and Nazem Kadri get into it a little bit, too.
yeah, I mean, they were just dicking around. That was funny.
Yeah.
Hey, Komarov is, I didn't realize, I was talking to someone on Hockey Central Saturday. Like, he's back up to his all-star pace.
Like 18 goals?
Yeah, well, not quite in goal scoring, but in terms of points.
Good for him.
But people were too hard on him last year, I
he
thought.
looked absolutely washed in the playoffs.
He did. Well, in the playoffs, he was hurt, obviously. But his pace last year was so far off of what it usually is, which isn't fantastic. And you could argue that he's overpaid, but that is roughly a 30 to 40 point player. And he got less than 20 playing on like the second line. Like, I don't know. I kind of had a feeling this would happen.
What would happen? That he'd get overpaid for 40 points?
Yeah, I still don't know that he would have a bit of a bounce back. I still don't love that contract.
No, it's
it was
not a
never
good-
meant to be for the Leafs. But
I almost wonder to say, and again, people are going to light me up for Connor Brown, but he's on pace for 6 goals. However, I feel like the second he gets traded, and he will, they're going to trade him. I know it's going to happen. The reason I know it's going to happen is because they can't afford him. I think Connor Brown's going to go somewhere else, and he'll score 20 goals.
I know. Well, and what's so weird about it is people were falling over themselves to defend Josh Levo, and how could you trade him, and what a waste of a trade. And listen,
Sure would be a great time to bring Josh Levo back in the lineup.
Listen, you're not even totally wrong.
No,
like
you're
I'm part of the way with you. That's always been the way with the Leafs. Whenever they trade away an extra player, they get like 2 injuries or whatever. And then they have to trade for Peter Holland, and he's their number 1 center. I think that's how it works. But the same people are like, just get rid of Connor Brown.
Yeah,
What? No, I don't think that's how it works. I still like what Justin Bourne said. You know, he's not on the worst contract ever, and you can play him in all sorts of positions, and he's got a bit of a scoring touch, and he's responsible defensively, and maybe you should keep a player like that. 2.1.
it's not a bad deal.
It's a little bit much for a guy on the 4th line, but no, it's not. That
when he signed
if the
it, he
Leafs can't
wasn't.
afford something, it's not because of Connor Brown.
No, but when he signed that contract, he wasn't on the 4th line. He
scored 20 goals.
Scored 20 goals. And I still think, I think he's perfect on a team like Edmonton should be ringing the Leafs off the hook. And we will get to Edmonton,
And
by
he's
the way.
fast.
Don't you worry.
He's fast too. Edmonton.
Connor
Brown, Edmonton Oiler would be amazing.
Reuniting him with Connor McDavid. When Connor Brown was the captain of the Erie Otters and Connor McDavid was this young upstart. Take
Might
Nikita
be onto
Zaitsev too while you're at it.
I was about to say Connor Brown and Zaitsev, a little clef bomb action.
Man, I'd even take Puljujarvi for that.
But
Just Puljujarvi.
Brown
And Zaitsev for Puljujarvi.
They're not.
and clef bomb. Screw it. Listen, if you're not
gonna
calling
get
Peter
clef
Chiarelli
Why
every day,
not
you should be
throw in McDavid?
Yes. If you're an NHL GM and you're not calling Peter Chiarelli every day, you should be fired. On the spot. Federer D forever. Which I guess
Would you rather have Connor Brown or I guess it'd be 2 entry-level players? Or not Connor Brown, and you take 2.1 and give it to one of the big four.
Well, I think that's what is going to have to happen.
That's what
Yeah.
you. But then you still need to fill that roster spot.
I know, but then you've got like Andreas Janssen is going to get an upgrade, and I'm sure it'll be like $1.5 million. And you've got Kasperi Kapanen, who, you know, if I'm going to keep one of the two guys, Kasperi or Connor Brown, I'm going with Kasperi Kapanen all day. I'd rather him get 3.5 than, and I don't know if that's what he'll get, but I think it'll be 3.5 for Kasperi Kapanen.
I'd be pretty ecstatic to get him under 4.
Then to me, Connor Brown's the guy that has to go. And I also, like, you have to look at it too. Like,
isn't it amazing that the Leafs are good and we're talking about trading Connor Brown, and the Leafs are bad, and then we talk about trading Connor Brown? Like, it's just always the same.
It's always him.
Yeah, I just feel like it's. Listen, you might be right.
But it really only saves you $1 million.
Yeah, like that's just not the guy I look at.
Yeah,
it's just not
100%.
the guy.
It's the guy you look at. Who else do you get rid of?
Zaitsev needs to be priority number one.
Obviously, but
priority
that's like,
number one.
Yeah, I guess that's obvious to me.
Yeah, so you're like, okay, other than that.
Let's talk about the not obvious options, and I think Brown and Hyman are the guys, honestly. And I know that's unpopular. I know Zach Hyman is a first-line guy, quote-unquote.
Hyman's such an interesting one, because I like him as a player, too.
Me too.
It seems pretty obvious at the moment that Andreas Janssen just...
is better.
Well... And can do more offensively.
Who do you give that $2.7 million to? Andreas Janssen or Zach Hyman? And that's what I look at. And Zach Hyman's 27.
I think you trade Zach Hyman. You take Zach Hyman away from Mike Babcock's cold dead hands. There's going to be some fiery conversations in the coming months. I think it's going to be very interesting.
Andreas Janssen's looked pretty good, though, I have to say.
Yeah, I still think. Remember, I was like, oh man, Leafs signed Nylander, and now Dubas is free to do whatever the hell he wants. No, he's not, Steven. He's still got Austin Matthews and Mitchell Marner.
Yeah, they'll figure that out, though.
Yeah, but I think everything else is sort of on hold until they do. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So, before we get into the Edmonton Oilers, and we're going to start with Oilers Twitter.
Can I give you just a couple stats before we end Islanders segment? Okay, this blew me away. Stan Narodka, by the way, who works on ice surfing, does like all the stats for Hockey Night in Canada. Brilliant guy. So, to give you an idea, the rains when it rains, it pours for the Leafs Islanders. Barzal's hat trick was the first Islanders hat trick against the Leafs since.
Against the Leafs? It wasn't at the. Is it the same stat from Yellowfar?
Yes.
Okay, then I know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I said John Tavares.
Yeah.
Mike Bossy.
Whoa.
Right? Like, the Leafs were so bad for so long.
So were the Islanders.
Mike Bossy, well, so were the Islanders, I guess, but Tavares was a Leaf killer when he was an Islander.
He was.
And this one blew me away. This one's nuts.
Yeah.
Robin Lehner's shutout was the first road shutout for the Islanders against the Leafs. So first Islander shutout in Toronto ever.
Wow.
First ever.
It was 80 games?
88 games.
88 games.
88 Islanders games in Toronto. Lehner got the first shutout ever.
Yeah.
Wow. Considering some of the goalies that have gone through there, that's pretty insane.
Yeah, Mike Bossy. I mean, not Mike Bossy, sorry, Billy Smith.
Billy Smith.
How did Billy Smith...
DiPietro, Luongo.
Or just anyone. You just get lucky.
Yeah.
They were 0-87 in shutouts.
Yeah, it could have
been
Eric Fichot or whatever.
Dude, last week, Anton Khudobin had a 49-save shutout. Like, how don't you just capture lightning in a bottle in one night?
Yeah, that's interesting. That's
Robin
really
Lehner,
interesting.
36 saves, which was...
See, I like
not
it.
really.
You're not giving him 36 saves?
Well, they had 18 shots in the third when they were losing 4-0, and
still 36 saves.
None of them looked close to going in. Well, there was the one Matthews
but
where I think he got
a shot is a shot, man.
How are you trying to discredit the guy's saves?
Muffins! Yo, okay, people did that for Reimer all the time. They're like, he faced 40 shots, but like... only because he can't capture his
You're being a really big fan.
So the right strategy is to then do it to someone else.
Yes, it is.
That unfair thing that you see.
He got a shutout,
but wrongs make a right. I always say.
So he got a shutout, but like half the shots were the easy shots.
Just
so
muffins.
it's not that good of a shot.
Bakery. It's a damn bakery. How dare, don't slander the name of James!
I like the idea of I wanted the Leafs to shell Robin Lehner, and no offense, Robin, but I love seeing you freak out, man.
Yeah, see, he's sort of dropped that.
I miss freaking out in Buffalo, Robin Lehner.
He's dropped it a bit, though. It's a shame.
I like seeing him and Tuukka lose their minds. Because they're the two. Well, and Henrik Lundqvist with his death stares, too. There are some heated goaltenders in this league.
Henrik Lundqvist is angry like a cat. He's just passive-aggressive. Like you'll get home from work and Henrik Lundqvist will climb up on the counter and knock over your coffee or something like that.
Sometimes he smashes his stick over the net. Sometimes.
Yeah, like Robin Lehner or Tuukka Rask, you would come home and the house is like the couch is just torn up.
Where do you put Sparks on that level of angry goalie?
Ooh. Does he get that angry at the NHL level?
He gets fired up. I think he's a perfect hybrid. He's somewhere in the middle of Lundqvist and Rask.
Yeah, because he does things sometimes. Like sometimes he'll just do he'll launch a puck somewhere or something.
Yeah. He's a bit of a strange goalie. Yeah. But he's a goalie.
That's a good point.
He's a goalie.
Before we get into the Oilers, I want to know what kind of Panico Pizza would you compare Peter Chiarelli's moves to yesterday?
Okay, you brought this up before the show, and I think it's the Panico. Okay, Panico, should we delete this segment? Should we delete it? Because Panico, here's the comparison.
Okay.
Chiarelli bad, Panico good. So I guess it's not really a comparison, is it? They're the opposites. I don't get it. Like,
I was thinking
he would put all the salad toppings on a pizza. He's red onion, thickly cut.
Black olive or black olive,
blocks of marble cheese, not shredding it. Black olive, blackberries,
spinach.
Oh, what are you? No. What are you doing? What are you doing? Didn't we have a discussion about I don't know. I talked to a lot of people about pizza, so it might not have been you guys. I don't know. The Chicken Club Pizza has a jalapeno white sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one I was talking about last episode.
That is the one. Yeah, but did you bring up the sauce?
Yeah, it was. I said it was a non-tomato sauce pizza.
Oh man, I talk about pizza a lot. Yeah. Sorry, man. They all blend together. But no, you can't make the comparison. Panico good, Chiarelli bad.
Okay.
Notice how I didn't say Oilers.
Better question. How would you compare Oilers Twitter to a Panico Pizza? Oilers Twitter yesterday after the trades.
Okay, so
to me that was the most delicious Twitter I've ever seen in my life.
Here's how they're comparable. With Panico, I'm always blown away by the sheer number of options. Right? And Oilers Twitter, I love the unfathomable internal conflict Oilers fans have when stuff like this happens. Because they go, our team's stupid! And Leaf fans go, your team's stupid! And Oilers fans have to go, fuck the Leafs!
We can call them stupid, you can't!
Yeah, you just lost to the Islanders! What? Yeah, no. Task at hand. By the way, Oilers, Peter Chiarelli, I would personally, on behalf of Leaf fans, like to thank Peter Chiarelli for taking the heat off.
Oh.
Because I thought the number one story was
Tavares
Leafs lost the Tavares Bowl. And nope. Oh, man, they made one bad trade. Thank goodness. Two? Oh, Spector's Twitter was excellent. Because he's like, but wait, there's more. It was great.
So I want to go through some of the... I spent this morning... I've been suffering from little bouts of insomnia, so I'll wake up at 5 a.m. and just not be able to sleep, and then I'll fall asleep again at 6.
Oh, you should really get that sorted out.
I know what the hell's going on there.
I don't think that's a casual conversation.
It's so weird. Anyway, so I was doing prep this morning.
Leafs win 5-4.
And I just collected all of my favorite Oilers Twitter tweets, and there's a lot. So let's read through them, shall we?
I need this. I need this in my life.
This is the best.
Here, Adam, can you just... Here, let me... unbutton my sleeve there. I need you to hook this into my veins, please. Right. Could you?
From non-fat Yum Rocket. Which, by the way, Fraser Burns, you got a great Twitter handle.
That's a very underrated part of Oilers Twitter. A lot of really good names.
Good ones. So to recap, Oilers trade today for Petrovich, scratched 3 of the last 4 games, and Manning, healthy, scratched in 5 straight.
Oh, dear.
So that's your recap.
Wait, we should probably say what the trades were first.
Well, that's why I went with that one first.
Okay.
Because that's
sorry.
what they did.
Sorry.
So just so we contextualize, the Oilers dealt a 3rd-round pick and a defenseman, Chris Weidman, who was notably a part of the Erik Karlsson deal, and then was in the Uber, and then was traded to Edmonton.
Was he part of the
Karlsson
deal? No, he was
sure.
on the Sens.
Or
He was
it
in the
Hoffman
Uber.
Deal?
No, he was in the Uber. I feel like he was always part of the Sens organization.
Was he? All right.
I think so.
To Florida. He was traded to Florida with the 3rd-round pick for Alex Petrovich. The Oilers have 2 3rd-round picks in 2019. Theirs and the Islanders, which they got for Brandon Davidson last year. The Panthers will receive the more valuable of the 2 on draft day. Of course they will.
I'm going to go with it's probably the Oilers pick.
Deal number 2. Edmonton sends winger Drake Caggiula and defenseman Jason Garrison to Chicago for defenseman Brandon Manning and Robin Norrell, who plays plays in the SHL, the Swedish Hockey League. So those are the 2 deals that happened yesterday. So that's why I started with Fraser's tweet, because it sort of contextualizes what happened. And let's get to the good stuff here. And
I'm sorry, Robin Norrell, he didn't want to come over for the Blackhawks, who could
I don't think he wants to come over.
So I don't get it.
My understanding is he doesn't want to come.
So many of his trades just seem like, what can I get for this many?
Hold on, we'll get to it. Save this.
Sorry.
At Oilers Adam, the Oilers acquired 3 defensemen today. Here are their stats combined this season.
Wait, they got 3?
Robin Norrell.
Oh, right. The prospect. Sorry.
It's going to take 45 minutes. The Oilers acquired 3 defensemen today. Here are the stats combined this season. 53 games played, 1 goal, 3 assists, minus 22.
Oh!
All right. From, I think it's Rob Tikowski. It took a while, but in acquiring Brandon Manning, the Oilers finally got even with Brandon Manning. Now, this goes back to Brandon Manning breaking Connor McDavid's collarbone 42 games into Connor McDavid's Calder Trophy year. And even though it wasn't, we'll get to that. And then I guess Brandon later on, the next season when he was playing for Philly, he told Connor McDavid on the ice, "Yeah, I broke your collarbone."
Yeah,
on purpose.
well, and McDavid stuck up for him, and McDavid was rattled by it. And Tyler Dello, I thought, brought up a good point. He's like, people say all kinds of heinous shit on the ice, and I think Manning was lying if he told McDavid that he did it on purpose, because his face, the photo of the moment of impact is, oh shit, are you okay?
Yeah.
He was
just probably trying to get in his head.
Yeah, 100%. And the Oilers, I think, were up big in the revenge game and lost. I'm pretty sure. I think they were. Jesse, can you look that up?
You should know this moment very well, because on July 23rd, 2017, you recorded a video with Sportsnet on McDavid's Revenge on Manning. It was the number 79 moment out of 100 videos of the top 100 moments.
Whoa.
Do you not remember this?
What? Recording it? Oh, yeah. I'm wearing my 100 shirt and khaki shorts. Wow.
Do you
Jesse,
remember?
How are you so fast with this?
Do you remember doing this video?
I do, yes.
You are describing what you were just describing right now.
All right. What was the final score, Steve? Can we just play the video?
No, I don't think we're going to do that, but
we should.
It exists.
We should. Anyway, the Oilers were up big in that game, and then they lost.
I thought that was a fun tidbit.
Thank you.
It is.
Thank you for that,
Jesse. Well done.
We got some sort of internal Rogers Award for that series.
Kurt LeBlanc?
Yeah, we did. Oh.
At Kurt_the White. Kurt LeBlanc. That's funny. His name's Kurt LeBlanc, but Kurt the White. Get it? Anyway, he said, now Lucic can totally earn his $6 million by protecting Connor McDavid from guys inside his own locker room.
Oh, my God.
That's a good one.
Oh, my God. There's so many here.
I'm going to keep going. I'm going
to, just in case you missed any of my faves. Go ahead.
How about I just go through this list?
I was telling you to go through the list.
Keep going, guys. This is a great segment.
Dave Jameson, he's from TSN 1260. I have a vision of Chia huddled outside of the Rogers place, staring into the distance, teeth chattering in the wind, and wind lashing his face. He takes one last drag on a heater and says to himself, "It's showtime, Pete."
That's great.
Jonathan Willis. Today's moves fit ChiaREALLY's profile. Indifference to cap space, indifference to age, indifference to puck moving, love of grit and heaviness. It's the same plan he laid out when he was hired in 2015. It's the same plan that has led the Oilers to where they are today. Less funny, more true.
Yeah, that's just kind of dark, man.
Yeah, Nuge's teddy bear at Nuge Teddy. The Oilers have more than $12 million next year committed to Lucic, Spooner, and Manning. And by the way, I should mention that they tried to include Ryan Spooner, who they traded for 45 days ago, in any of these deals, and they can't get rid of him. Nobody wants him.
The Oilers, okay, this is how you know, like, ChiaREALLY should be fired immediately. And I'm not just saying that because he's a bad GM.
This is an evergreen statement.
Yeah, no, I know. But I'm not just saying that because he's done a bad job. He's in full-on panic mode and doesn't have any bullets left in the chamber. They just got Chris Weidman. He's gone. They just got Ryan Spooner. They're trying to get rid of him. They had Zykov for like 5 minutes, and they got rid of him. They're just trying shit. They're just throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks. It's not gonna stick. They're throwing water at the wall and hoping it sticks. It's water. It's going to run down, Pete. You need to get something a little bit more viscous. He needs to be a bit more bold and take some risks. And Oilers fans are like, no! Which means it's time to get rid of him, dude.
David Staples, if, bracket, and this is a big if, Brandon Manning can help the Oilers win, I assure you he'll be Connor McDavid's new best friend. This is a business and it's about winning. Oilers axe 3 players who help them lose. Works for me. And then the instant response to that was he was helping the Blackhawks win by sitting in the press box. They were 6-1 once they took him out of the lineup.
Oh my God.
The Hawks.
Really?
Yeah.
So here, this is another one from... Man, sometimes I forget how vicious MLSE was.
Oh,
by
my God.
MLSE, I mean at MLSE.
They used to just shred the
God, you
Leafs.
got to write more, man. Bob Stauffer. Like Petrovich, Manning will assist in the short term in helping stop cycles and provide grit and compete on the back end. And MLSE goes, the dangers of just parroting what you're told by your management buddies is that as they fail, you need to repeat dumber and dumber things.
Andrew Berkshire. McDavid in 2 years through tears. I promised Dry I wouldn't do this.
That was a good one. I saw that.
Another guy from Wood Guy 55, who I think we need to have on the show because he's
Another
amazing.
great one, yeah.
Peter ChiaREALLY. I'm buying out Greiba. Also Peter ChiaREALLY. I'm trading a third for a Greiba type.
Oh my God, you're right.
It's so true.
And he makes way more.
Yeah.
Oh.
Travis Dakin.
He's just trying shit.
Fitting that since ChiaREALLY cost McDavid the Hart last year, he brings in the guy that cost him the Calder. Copper and Blue, who were just apoplectic. That blog was they are losing their minds right now. Here's somebody they basically just went LOL Wolf, and then they showed a screen grab of somebody's Twitter who got ratioed pretty bad. Weidman and Garrison weren't being used regularly. So I look at this as essentially Kajula, who hasn't scored since Ken Hitchcock's first game, and a third rounder for Petrovic and Manning, both of whom Hitchcock will be able to count on for bite and muscle on the back end. And they're just saying, woof. So there are still Oiler fans out there who believe in this. Ryan Rishaug, who also had a day on Twitter.
Ryan Rishaug, who, I didn't know this, was a WHL player.
Was he?
I didn't know that, and played for Ken Hitchcock.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's why he's literally taller than everybody that he interviews. It's crazy.
Yeah, he looks like an athlete. Well,
he said,
news for you.
This is funny. Oiler defense is better today than it was yesterday, and both of these players in the overall... both of these players up the overall compete level on the blue line. There it is again. You remember that, Leaf fans? Compete level? That served us so well. ChiaREALLY had to do something, but again, the prices were high. Now, a lot of people took him to task on a lot of different tweets like this. So, Ryan Fancy, another guy that used to just shred the Leafs when they were bad.
Yeah.
Ryan Rishaug originally tweeted this, and then he was quote tweeted by Ryan Fancy. Oilers' situation on the blue line is desperate, but everyone knows that as well. Nobody throwing lifelines to them, so prices are pretty high for a third-pairing defenseman by a desperate team. Ryan Fancy says, if you're getting scratched on the 2018 Blackhawks, you're a no-pairing defenseman.
Yes. Yep. Yes. 100%.
This is another one. We have to run through these all because they're so good.
There's
the Oilers,
so many.
The Oilers winger situation is so dire that the trade of Drake Caggiula actually makes it worse.
Well, yeah, and it's so I saw this one Oilers fan who was like,
"That's Tyler Thupka, by the way." Sorry.
This one Oilers fan was like, "Wait, I thought Oilers fans hated Caggiula, and now him getting traded, is a bad thing. You don't know what you're talking about." And everyone just ratioed him like, "No, that's how bad these moves were."
Hang on. This one. There we go.
Holy shit, you should see Adam's list.
It's huge.
So long.
Situation on the blue line. This is Ryan Rashog again. Situation on the blue line was getting critical with injuries and losses mounting. Petrovich is a UFA next season, so we'll call it an early deadline rental for the Oilers. Big body that can defend pretty well. And Copper and Blue writes, no, he can't, Ryan.
Yeah, so, sorry, and let me defend myself because I think we previously talked about, like, hey, I'd like an Alex Petrovich on the Leafs. I think the Leafs should maybe make a move for him. He is having a really bad season.
He's the kind of guy that you sign on a nothing deal and put him with the Marlies and rehab his career. Like a Calvin Pickard, right?
Maybe.
Although Calvin Pickard was brought in on a trade. But you know what I'm saying?
A bit like a Justin Hall in some way. Justin Hall was a second-round pick. He was a second-round pick and then had to find his way from the ECHL all the way back to being basically a perennial healthy scratch, but he's back.
Yeah.
So it's something like that.
Mike Stevens. As an employee, I value the kind of boss who fires my best friend and then replaces him with the same dude who tried to kill me 2 years ago.
Oh, my God.
Good one? That's from Leafs Twitter, but still good.
Hockey players, they don't hold grudges. No?
Garrett
you
Hall.
never heard that Jeremy Roenick story where he had this blood feud going with a guy, and the second he shows up in the locker room, the guy comes and cracks him in the face.
Really?
Yeah, and then was basically like, "Oh yeah, we're square now."
Wow.
Yeah, can you look that up? It was.
Somebody punched Jeremy Roenick in the face?
I'm pretty sure it was Jeremy Roenick. Jeremy Roenick trade punched in face. I don't know.
Okay.
Like I want to say it was
Garrett Hall. Some 20-ish years from now, there will be a discussion on some of the best players to ever play. And when McDavid's name comes up, people will talk about how his team didn't win much. And that's true.
the modern day Marcel Dionne.
I hope not. He's way too good to be that.
He's way too good. Man, did you see the flip-up goal he scored the other day against the Sharks? Just a little boop. Just put it right over the goalie's shoulder.
Oh, my God.
Lost 7-4 or whatever it was.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Which really, it was like a 6-1 loss because it was 6-1 with like 8 minutes left.
Somebody named Murray McCourt. As a diehard Blackhawks fan, all I can say is thank you, Oilers. We were just a huge beneficiary of the Oilers GM being incompetent. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Which I think for Blackhawks fans is something they got to be getting used to by now.
Oh, I had someone tweet me like, stop helping the Blackhawks. Damn it. It's amazing they're this bad when everyone just can't help but help them.
It's amazing. And my personal favorite tweet, and I think you have to see this more than I can really explain it to you, but it's S7DSN, and I believe this guy I know is a listener of the show. He follows us, and I believe he works for EA Sports NHL. But have you watched Bandersnatch yet?
No,
Blackbeard,
but I love.
So
I love this.
Literally, it's Peter Chiarelli in Do Nothing, Trade Sagan. Play it safe. Trade number 16 and number 33 for Griffin Reinhart.
Such a horrible trade.
Put down phone or Lucic 7-year deal. He could have done more. That was only 3.
Fans, you need to get the blessing of pension plan puppets.
Oh,
and do Peter Chiarelli versus a potato.
Can someone please do that?
Please do it, and like over a 3-year span.
Because that's not supposed to be a long enough sample size either, is it? 3 years? Is that enough for the potato? For the potato?
Oh, for the potato. Well, for the potato, it was literally, wasn't it like July 1st only?
Was it?
And the potato like smoked. Notice. Or whatever.
Jesus.
It was like a week. I bet if you did 3 years, and keeping in mind a potato can't like go out and sign free agents. They could only sign RFAs to an upgrade or something like that. They can't make trades. Oh my goodness. Are we going to keep going?
Well, no, that's all I got. That's all I really got. There's a few more great ones that I'm sure I missed, but I'm first off, the thing that got me, and I know that this isn't really the main story, but the thing that really got me was the Ryan Spooner news. So Mark Spector said they tried to include him in the deal of the Blackhawks, and the Blackhawks were like, no.
Oh, Spectre definitely got an angry phone call yesterday, for sure, from the Oilers. Like, why did you have to put that out there? Why?
He had to put that. He had to put that out there.
So you trade Jordan Eberle for
Ryan Strome.
Ryan Strome. Trade him for Ryan Spooner, who you hate immediately and can't trade.
And who's, by the way, he's got a deal next year. His deal goes through next year. So does Brandon Manning's.
They're in just utter free fall. And 2 weeks ago, Terry Jones was like, he's back.
And then did you see Terry Jones's article from 2 days ago after the Dallas Stars stuff?
Oh no, what was it?
He said it's time for the Oilers' top 2 players to call out management. So he took the Dallas Stars situation, flipped it on its head, and said the Oilers' top players need to call out management, and then they make those 2 trades.
Man, I have a hard enough time making 3 or 4 videos a week. I can only imagine writing an article every day.
And forgetting.
You're going to trip over yourself a few times.
But that was a week ago.
That's a terrible one.
Come on.
I was about to correct you and go, actually, that was 2 weeks ago, and then I'm like, Steve, it doesn't matter. It does not matter.
That was 2 shows ago.
It's just, wow. Wow. Was it?
Pretty sure.
Wow.
It wasn't last show, but the show before.
We can keep going with this, by the way. Can you play audio right now?
Of what? You got audio?
Oh, yeah. I sent these in the message last night.
Oh, okay.
Remember oil change?
No.
Oil change.
Okay, so it's basically, it was such a cool idea at the time. It's just a little time capsule of bullshit, unfortunately. But you know how the Leafs had the blueprint?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now because I watched the videos,
Yeah. So, for those of you who don't know,
Yes.
Oil Change, great title. It was basically the Oilers made a documentary during the beginning of their rebuild 9 years ago. And someone tweeted out a couple relatively hurtful quotes. One was from Daryl Cates. Another was Kevin Lowe, both of whom still with the team. Now, Daryl Cates is the owner, so I suppose that makes sense. Kevin Lowe, there's no accountability. I saw someone tweet, Bob Nicholson was supposed to be the adult in the room. And, they're just doing the same shit.
So let's say...
The Oilers are the biggest front office ever.
We forgot this Dennis King tweet. So let's say internally you were sick of Kajula. Why wouldn't you have kept Zykov?
Yes! Because, Adam, there's no plan. There's no plan. They're in free fall.
Okay, so do you want the Daryl Cates quote first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Daryl Cates is looking pretty cool in this clip.
Yeah, he's
looking
got that
pretty cool.
Seattle tan. Famous Seattle tan.
Maybe it was a blessing in disguise.
All right, hang on.
Hey.
I got to get that volume up. All right.
Also, who's this from?
This is from at Shanny Ends. Shanny Ends.
You bet it is.
Okay. Ready?
Like to think that maybe it was a blessing in disguise based on how the draft goes this year. I think drafting and development is how teams go quickly from bottom to the top, and we're going to be a shining example of that.
Now, by the way, in that they showed Sam Gagner.
Sam Gagner. The goalie is Devin Dubnyk.
That's who the goalie is.
And
Which was actually a good pick. Turned out to be a good pick.
Andrew Cogliano. Is my mic on? It sounds super weird.
Oh, I don't know. It got knocked down. Say that again. Sorry, we'll start that again.
Actually?
Yeah, it actually got... Your volume got knocked down, but only for a couple seconds.
Okay, sorry. So... There we go. Now I can hear myself in the headphones. So there's 3 players. Yeah, you said Sam Gagner. The goalie is Devin Dubnyk.
Yep.
And the third guy is Andrew Cogliano.
Yeah.
Oy vey.
Oy vey. All right.
This was a while ago.
So this is, again, Shanny tweeting again. And these are only 15-second clips, but they say so much. Kevin Lowe, still employed by the Oilers. Same episode of that embarrassingly abhorrent dump of a TV series. Talking about how we don't want to be laughed at by the league. 9 years later, and the league is laughing harder than ever.
You want the team to do well. You want, for many reasons, for the people of the city, for the kids, for the fans, for everybody involved. You hate when people elsewhere in other cities, make fun of us.
Bro. Well, and they just can't develop for shit. I think about that. Andrew Cogliano, that's not a superstar. It's a good player,
Good
though.
player for someone else.
Sam Gagner's a funny case. I got to imagine he's traded at some point, or the Canucks just bring him back. Devin Dubnyk is amazing, and it took a while for him to get.
And he
that
was
way.
not amazing in Edmonton.
He wasn't amazing in Edmonton. He wasn't amazing in Montreal. He wasn't amazing in Nashville. I can't remember. He had like a strong start in Arizona. Man, he pinged around, and then he finally goes to, I think it's Minnesota.
Yeah, and he's their starter.
And he's wicked. But like oh man, Jeff Petrie.
Oh, which they traded for a second and a fifth, which I would love to know what those draft picks became. Jeff Petrie, I remember them being so mad about Jeff Petrie, like Oilers fans and bloggers and stuff being upset about that.
They're like, no, he's good.
He's the one guy they developed who turned into something.
Yeah, and if the Oilers were so analytically inclined, like Pierre Maguire claimed, they would have saw that and gave a shit about it, and they didn't. They didn't.
Now, that was pre-ChiaREALLY, so we can't pin that on him.
But it's the Oilers.
Yeah, Kevin Lowe's still there.
You know, okay, the one thing I'll say in defense of Peter ChiaREALLY is, what's the difference? Like, really, what's the difference? Like, we're talking about clips from 9 years ago. What's changed? Dick all has changed. And they paid it like a second-round pick for this guy back when you had to give picks for executives and coaches and stuff like that. Unbelievable. And I mean, the Leafs had to give up 2 picks, Lamoriello and Babcock. I'd say they've at least gotten, decent value. And somehow not a second. I don't understand why.
Yeah, that was weird.
But what's changed in terms of how that organization runs since Peter ChiaREALLY came on? I would argue nothing. And they brought in a guy who they're like, he aligns with us or whatever. He still thinks it's the 80s. So we'll bring this guy in, and Peter ChiaREALLY is going to take the fall for this, right? Okay, so Oilers fans, you're going to get your way. Peter ChiaREALLY is going to get fired. Then what?
They're going to bring in another guy.
They're going to bring in some other schmuck
who thinks exactly the same way they do. It's an echo chamber up there. It's clearly what it is. It's like it's the whole thing on YouTube when you watch one video and then the algorithm instantly switches, and then all of a sudden, like, I watched one Joe Rogan clip.
Oh my god!
And now everything is Ben Shapiro clips.
Yeah.
I don't watch Ben Shapiro. Dude. I've never watched a Ben Shapiro video in my life.
Rogan has a bunch of interesting guys. I want to learn about space.
For sure.
Cool.
That's cool. Do you do DMT? I want to know if they did DMT.
This comedian's funny or whatever. Bill Burr.
Sure. I
can't watch their videos on YouTube. I can't do it. Because the shit it links to is shocking.
It's scary.
Now, I guess the Oilers are a version of that. Like, what did, I want to say Mark Spector once upon a time called them the Red Wine Club. Like, dude, what? They're all the same guys from about a decade ago, and they do the same shit.
What I don't understand is, okay, so you bring in, remember they made a big deal about last year bringing in Paul Coffey as the defensive coach who was going to help them move pucks, and they're bringing in all defensemen who are exactly the opposite of Paul Coffey, and I would argue are just a bunch of Kevin Lowe clones.
Yeah, man.
Like, when Kevin Lowe was playing, he was big, tall, slow, but effective in that time.
Oilers are going to have throwback night next year, and none of them are going to wear helmets. That's what. And Craig McTavish is going to drop the center ice puck. Who, by the way, still with the organization as well.
What do you think?
They fire guys and keep them.
What do you think will be the effect on Connor McDavid's tenure there? And I say tenure there because I don't like. If you think that, like, look at what happened with the Islanders and Tavares, right? And I know that it's, another, 7 years until McDavid's up. Make no mistake, if it's probably going to take at least, if you got some maverick GM in there, right? Someone who really made all the right moves, it's still going to take you 3 years to turn this around before you really see the playoffs and before you really have some hope. You've got to unload probably $16-17 million in bad contracts with Russell, Lucic, Spooner, Brandon Manning, and then you've got to draft well, so you've got to overhaul your scouting staff, and it's hard to do that because good scouts are hard to find. All these personnel changes before the players on the ice can change are going to happen, and then you're going to have to figure out whatever the hell is going on in Bakersfield, because for some reason they can't seem to develop. How is Puljujärvi, who spent time down there? How is it Brandon? Is it Brandon or Bakersfield?
No, it's
Bakersfield. It is Bakersfield. Mm-hmm. Kyler Yamamoto. All these guys, how are they not getting better?
Is it Bakersfield?
By going there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is it? Bakersfield? Let's check that. I believe it's Bakersfield.
Trying to remember because it's changed a couple times. It's definitely not Brandon. You're thinking of the Wheat Kings.
Yeah. My point in saying this is there are so many issues, and we've seen it with the Leafs.
The Bakersfield Condors.
Thank you. I think that used to be an ECHL town.
There are so many issues, and we've seen this with the Leafs. I mean, people forget. Like everybody says the rebuild started around the time that we drafted Matthews. It didn't. It was 2 years already, and then we drafted Matthews.
I'd argue at least a year. Yeah. So
the year they drafted Nylander for me, and they fired Poulin and Lozelle in the summertime. That was the year. That's when it started for me.
But I've always said, the Leafs burned it to ash. No, that's not how any good rebuild works. So they fired a bunch of scouts, fired a bunch of management. They changed everything, won the draft lottery. That certainly helped. But Connor Brown was already there. William Nylander was already there, I would argue, before the rebuild truly started.
That was a Shanny. You would argue that you don't think Lozelle and Poulin were not part of the early rebuild stages? You don't think that getting those guys, like bringing in Dubas, I think it started when they brought in Dubas, man.
Didn't they extend Carlisle after Dubas was hired? Shanahan did.
Shanahan did because he wanted to see what they had.
We found out.
And that's what he said at the time. We're extending because we want to leave it for now to figure out what we have here.
But that's still not quite a rebuild. Almost.
Okay.
Almost.
Fine.
Same. I wrote an article where there's so many points where you could argue the rebuild started. But yada, yada, yada. You got to have some pieces. You want to galaxy brain this? I'm going to galaxy brain this. Oilers miss the playoffs this year. Win one of the draft lotteries.
Mm-hmm.
Make the playoffs the next year. Because that player does incredible. Whoever they get, Capo Caco or Jack Hughes.
If they do get Jack Hughes, I still don't think it changes too much for them.
They make the playoffs. That player does amazing. They hit all their bonuses. The following year, the Oilers are over the cap, so they're penalized, and we're having the same conversation in 2022. Or they can fire people and change things. Like, this is the dark part of it all for me. They fire ChiaREALLY.
That doesn't change anything.
I don't think it changes dick. I don't think it changes
That's why I would argue with the Leafs, who went through a similar situation with management and with players, getting too comfortable here, losing. When Lozelle and Poulin were fired, it was the beginning of the management going, okay, you guys you're completely off base here. You are not what we're looking for. You're not, whatever it is you think works in hockey isn't going to work for this organization going forward. And that to me was the start, because that's when player personnel decisions started to change. That was the season before. That was Carlisle's last season, which he only coached half of. That was the brutal Horacek year. Going into that, I think that starts there. Well, and I think the rebuild starts when you bring in when Shanahan, against his scouts' wishes, goes and drafts Nylander. That was his choice.
That is the rumor is. The urban legend, I'm going to say, I don't believe this really happened, is Shanahan's like, who should we draft? And the scouts go, oh, some big guy. And Shanahan goes, great. And he walks up on stage, he goes, we draft William Nylander. And he gets off stage and goes, you're all fired. I don't believe that for a second.
They didn't fire
I wish they didn't, did it? Like, how bad do you wish that actually happened? But, okay, so we always make it about the Leafs. I'm trying to think of other
The Leafs are
Canadian
a great
teams.
example, though.
They are a great example, but I'm trying to micro it. You know who wouldn't be an Oiler right now if he was drafted by the Oilers? Jake Virtanen. And the Canucks were patient with him through some, is this guy going to work out times? And he's had a good season. Sam Bennett, if he was drafted by the Oilers, would not be an Oiler. Because, damn it, he's not a 4th overall pick. He's not scoring like one. He's not this. He's not that. Like, they just leave it. Leave it for a second. The idea, are they really going to not fire this guy in time to prevent a Jesse Puljujarvi trade? Are they seriously going to trade that guy? You've had him for 5 seconds.
I think they are going to trade him.
I think they are going to trade him.
All right, have fun.
And I hope it's to the Leafs.
Oh my God! Yes.
Because I think the Leafs could actually take a guy like that and give him some confidence. Like, you wouldn't have to play with the Leafs right away. Just go down to the AHL, tear it up, and then we're ready for you when you're ready.
I just don't get it.
For Edmonton.
Yes.
I'm going to argue the Leafs rebuild started when Tim Leiweke came in and he ripped down all the old photos of all the old Leafs.
Oh, that's a good point.
Interesting.
And he's the one who hired Brendan Shanahan.
But he also extended Dave Nonis for
He did extend Dave Nonis for a little bit. But he's the one who put the guy in charge now who's leading them.
True.
To the
Dave Nonis' contract, by the way, expires 2018. So it's done now.
This year?
Officially. The 5-year extension was in 2013.
Oh, Eve.
Is that not what Edmonton needs? Someone to come in and blow out everything from the 80s and the people who are still there from the 80s.
Yeah, and
start over.
I agree with you, Jesse.
Instead of a board of governors, don't the Oilers just have Daryl Cates? The guy who's like, no, we're drafting Nail Yakupov.
Yeah.
Like, how the dude, you're not the guy. You pay people to do work for you. Remember my cat explosion?
Yeah.
That was years ago, and they're still doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're expecting people who have never changed to change.
Mm-hmm.
I know. So, no, Jesse's 100% right. And literally, it's just... How many teams around the league would be fixed, like, immeasurably if their owner just pulled their head out of their ass? And I'm not talking... It used to be... I remember the complaint about Jeremy Jacobs with the Bruins. Used to be, oh, he's cheap. And he just won't spend the money to get that one extra guy for a run. And maybe Bruins fans can help me out and point me in the right direction of that. Maybe it's oversimplifying it. With the Sens and Oilers, with the Sens it's different. With the Oilers, they're spending. Mm-hmm. They're spending lots of money. They're just being morons about it.
And they're trying things. They're just trying the dumb things.
Yeah.
The wrong things, I should say.
It's like Mark Bergevin the last couple of years, like trading for guys like Dwight King and like, there's just non-needle movers. Like, you're not. It's just not a thing that is going to help you. It's like when you've got a flat tire and you try to replace your mirror. Like, I don't understand what they're doing or what they think. I mean, I know that they've got Clefbaum and Russell are both out, so that's why they needed a couple extra bodies. But don't tell me that you can't find someone. You don't need to make disastrous trades to find a guy. Like, is nobody in Bakersfield? Is anybody in Bakersfield that much worse than Brandon Manning or Alex Petrovic? Are they that much? Maybe Petrovic's having an off year, and maybe he becomes a good third pairing guy.
Maybe they got guys hurt down there.
Maybe.
Like, injuries in the minors don't often get reported. Something that we sort of glazed over last episode. Got to give praise to the Dallas Stars for being in a playoff spot, despite their 2 stars being bullshit, apparently. Or fucking horseshit, sorry. They've used 12 defensemen this season.
Wow.
That's mind-blowing. The Leafs have used 8.
Right.
So imagine they had to use then Rosen and let's say Borgman, and then who's the next option after that?
You.
Oh, Liljegren and Sandin.
Okay, Liljegren's hurt, so you can't call him up.
Sandin.
So you're going to call up the 18-year-old?
Yeah. That'd be a little rough.
Laverty.
No, he's hurt.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, I'm just pretending.
He's hurt?
No, I'm just pretending. So, like, imagine you had to call
who's on their defense.
You know who's on an NHL contract? Jordan Subban.
Yeah.
So you got to call up the fourth-line right winger.
Yeah, he's playing right wing.
And Dallas is still in a playoff spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they really got to be praised for that. And how fucked would the Oilers be if they had to do that?
Brutal. Now, I want to bring it back to my original point of bringing up this conversation was, what does this do to Connor McDavid's tenure with the Oilers? At what point does Connor McDavid go, I'm done? Get me out of here.
Man.
Do you guys think he finishes his career as an Edmonton Oiler?
You can't trade. You can't.
Does he finish this contract?
You can't win the Connor McDavid trade. It's impossible.
Oh, yeah.
You can't.
Well, they traded Gretzky.
Oh, my God. Someone get their man. Someone get Daryl Cates. You nailed it. They gotta. And it's funny because they did sort of try something with the hiring of Bob Nicholson. Like, people said he was supposed to be the adult in the room. Mm-hmm. Fire everybody. Fire every person who's a brother of someone who was someone.
funny.
Don't they employ Messier's brother and Gretzky's?
Dude.
Yep.
Are you? You gotta be kidding me.
Oh yeah. There's rumors of abound of nepotism beyond that in the Oilers.
Well, they hired Paul
staff.
Coffey because he hung out with Gretzky at the games.
Well, he also was a pretty good Oilers defenseman. But
but what is his management experience?
Oh, true. Yeah.
Gretzky's the best player ever, and he wasn't a great coach.
Terrible.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't necessarily translate. Like, was Barry Trotz a great player, or Guy Boucher, or Babcock played in like England?
Yeah, sometimes you're a coach, sometimes you're a player. You got to know what you are. I just look at
Bruce
it.
Boudreau.
I look at it and I go, I don't know. If you're Connor McDavid and you're waking up this morning, this is a hopeless situation. Ken Hitchcock is on the record of saying, he said, I think it was 2 days ago, what we're going to have in 2 weeks is two very burnt out superstars. 2 weeks!
You know what? The adult in the room is Ken Hitchcock.
And what I love about Ken Hitchcock is he's got absolutely nothing to lose. He's the most realistic Oilers person, and it's because, what are they going to do? Fire him? Okay, I'll go back to being retired. I've made my money. I'm like the third winningest coach ever. Who cares? I don't care.
These moves, man, you know what? I'm convincing myself. I don't know how much of this is Peter ChiaREALLY. I don't.
Really?
I really don't.
Why are you willing to give him a pass on that? If he was really not making these moves, that's giving a pass, though, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, a little bit, or taking the pressure off.
Yeah, because you got to listen, man.
His track record suggests
his name's on this. If someone else is pulling the trigger, then resign and show them, hey, listen, I am not the guy that's pulling the trigger here. I got to get out of here because you're pinning this all on me.
Yeah.
And I think these moves are a disaster. I think he's 100% behind this.
Not a lot of people willing to turn away a salary of that nature just because they're a little bit unhappy. You know? But, it's getting to the point, I mean, man, okay, so if he is being influenced in that way, he's got to consider, all right, who's going to be the next team that hires me after this? Ooh. So I have a theory that when you win a Stanley Cup, and you're a coach or management type, you can do whatever you want for 7 years.
Mm-hmm. Why 7?
Because that's what it seems to be. Carlisle was about 7 years, sort of, before he got fired by the Leafs, and then it was a while before he returned to the Ducks.
I got to go to the bathroom, but you keep going.
John Tortorella seemed...
Watch the I will.
Yeah. John Tortorella had to, revitalize his career a little bit. Dude, he won the Cup, and then, he had that blow up in Vancouver. Mm-hmm. Who else was I thinking of in this conversation? Brian Burke was done shortly after his 7 years, and then he had to go to president, which is like getting kicked upstairs, sort of. And now he's a broadcaster.
Yeah, and now he's just out.
Yeah. Trying to think. Well, and Peter ChiaREALLY. Peter ChiaREALLY won the 2011 Stanley Cup, and let me check my watch here. Yeah, 7 years.
So, if you have to place a bet right now on whether Connor McDavid is an Edmonton Oiler in, let's say, 5 years, does he finish this contract as an Edmonton Oiler, Connor McDavid?
Not even the Edmonton Oilers are stupid enough to trade the best player in hockey. No.
No?
He's gonna be an Oiler.
Okay.
He'll be an Oiler. Surely. There's just no way.
I don't know.
They gotta bring in
his
some.
no movement clause kicks in 2022 after that season. So the Oilers have till 2022 to get out from under $12.5 million. And get rid of the best player.
Get out from under.
And get rid of the best player in hockey.
Yeah, sign 2 Lucics and give yourself a $500,000 bonus.
Right.
Dude. Think of how good this team could be, too.
Mm-hmm. If they had just kept everyone they wanted to trade away. Imagine if Taylor Hall is still there.
Imagine. Dude, the money... How much money is he making?
Hall?
Isn't he making a hair over what Lucic is making?
I will tell you in half a second. And the money was the reason they got rid of him. He's making $6 million.
Well, and so often what the main criticism is with Hall is, well, he's a bit of a knucklehead. And this guy gets traded out of Edmonton, and well, he's a bit of a knucklehead. And I get so sick when teams go, well, he's a bit of a knucklehead. And then they trade that player, and he goes on to have success elsewhere.
Yeah.
Why weren't you the one who was able to make them not a knucklehead?
What if it's everything going on around him that made him a knucklehead?
Yeah. Taylor Hall was a knucklehead in Edmonton. And Tyler Seguin was a knucklehead in Boston. Mm-hmm. And look, why never you? Mm-hmm. Why never with you, huh? Mm-hmm. There's knuckleheads. If you get any random group of 25 people, you'll have at least one knucklehead. Why never with the rehabilitation? Why never with the redemption story?
If you took the Edmonton Oilers right now and you just put Taylor Hall back where Lucic is right now and just swap the money's the same, $6 million versus 6 point whatever.
They lack the most plentiful resource in the entire league, which is wingers.
Yeah.
It's astounding. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And then they get a winger, and they don't score 30 goals right away, and they trade him. What year is this podcast from?
Oh, my God.
Ever
This could
present,
be,
my friend.
yeah, every podcast from every...
Oh, my God. Anyway, Chris, how would you fix the Oilers?
Well, I would fix it by the Canucks are great.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how I
mean, that's a good point.
But, the Sedins are getting older. So you got to be careful.
But Ryan Kessler, he's still got it.
Yeah.
But Luongo.
Yeah.
He's a tough prick.
Oh, God.
Man, we're only 2 years removed from him stealing a series against Nashville. Man, remember when they got Peter Forsberg last year or whatever?
Oh, my God.
Man.
Adam.
Yo.
Connor McDavid has a no movement clause that kicks in 2022.
Wave it.
So
Wave it.
the Oilers have the option until the end of the 2022 season to trade him. Are they going to do it?
I think they're going to have to.
There you
going
go.
out on the record.
There you go.
You don't.
He did it.
See, I said no.
I think they're going to trade him.
Nah.
You know why?
That's fascinating.
He'll ask. He will ask. He'll ask for it out.
Nah.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
You think nah.
You think Connor McDavid
Clip
signing
it.
up for 8 years of this?
Adam.
Unless he pulls a Jack Eichel, which might be a smart move, and goes and meets with Daryl Cates at Daryl Cates' Rexall Pharma Plus house in the hills somewhere. I just assume that Daryl Cates lives in a humongous Rexall mansion.
You know what? Adam is right, which means Terry Jones was right.
I think Connor McDavid goes to... If he goes to Daryl Cates' mansion this summer, which he will, and says, listen, if you don't get rid of everybody, I can't be here anymore.
March up to the office. Forget
Connor
his mansion.
McDavid does need to kind of, I hate to put it this way, and this is a hot take among hockey.
He's got to be the grown-up.
Connor McDavid has to go and tell him, Connor McDavid has to set the tone for this organization. Mm-hmm. He's got to get rid of the management.
He's 21. Have fun. Jeez.
Adam, I want a clean edit of your take. If you could say that Connor McDavid will not be
McDavid will not be an Edmonton Oiler at the end of this contract.
Wow.
I will clip it.
We need a Tim and Sid's.
He won't. He won't.
We don't need that. You will do nothing but press the button. We don't need that.
Yeah,
That's a spicy meatball.
We can't give you that. I just don't think he will be. You just can't.
I went to the Raptors game yesterday, and I was just like, I want to be the guy who presses the individual, or whatever, after someone gets a basket. Sorry, what were you saying?
Connor McDavid, Oilers. Yeah. Do you think Leon Draisaitl will be an Oiler by the end of this?
Ooh.
Well, yeah, they're going to need a new captain.
Maybe he's there in Nazem Kadri, where by the time maybe they're good, he's still
there. What a
there.
steal! The $9.5 million. What is it? Is it 8.5? Oh, it's 8.5. It's not that bad.
He's their Kadri. Is that he just kind of floats by and he's there by the time they're good again, and everybody else is gone.
I tell you what, that's another one though. If Nazem Kadri was drafted by the Edmonton Oilers, he would not be an Oiler.
No, true.
He would not be an Oiler. Like, think of every pain in the ass that almost didn't work out, but ended up working out.
Aren't most people in their late teens a pain in the ass?
No, some people are Alex Pietrangelo and they know how to cook. I just remember I just remember having to talk to him when he was at World Junior Camp, and when it's the World Juniors, you grade on such a funny scale, and no, he lives by himself already and he knows how to cook. which means he's going to be a captain in the National Hockey
Sorry,
League.
isn't that like bare minimum stuff? Like being able to feed yourself?
Yeah,
That's
but
sort of something
Do
your
your
parents should.
laundry.
No.
Well, don't say do your laundry, because where did Steve learn to do laundry?
When I got my own house, because my wife was like, "Fuck you and your bullshit."
How old were you?
26.
See, these are
You didn't do laundry until you're 26?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Is
ashamed
this in
of
the
it.
book?
I'm ashamed of it.
This
No,
should be the
it's
first
not.
it
page.
should have been the first page.
Oh my god.
Jesse's 26 now.
That's kind of bad.
No, it's horrible. It's horrible. I don't know if I've told this story before, but I was driving from Oshawa, and I stopped in at Scarborough. I stopped in at my parents' place, and I got something to eat because I'm a dirty freeloader. And I, washed all the dishes and everything, and I tried to make sure everything was immaculate.
Sure.
And my mom came home right before I left, and she just "Hi, Steven," and that's all she said, and I just started crying. Because I was just I'm so sorry. I was just I've been living on my own for a week, and I'm what a lazy prick. I'm so sorry.
You realize she had to do all of that every day for your entire childhood.
For you and your sister.
And
for you and your sister.
Yeah. And I never, as long as I live, will give her a better gift than those tears. Aww. She was just he knows.
Now, see, I make fun of Steve for not being able to do laundry at 26. I wasn't emotionally available until I was about 26. So, Steve was a much better problem solver at a much younger age. You're better with people than I was. I'd always be like, Steve, this is making me mad. And you'd be like, Adam, here's why it shouldn't. Because you have a very easy solution. And I'd be like, wow, Steve.
And then you see me with a computer issue, and I'm like, fuck!
Yeah.
What is it? Yeah, I have lots of patience with people, none with... Adam, I think your sleep schedule is improving, despite your insomnia comment. Mm-hmm. There were some days where Jesse and I were like, does it want coffee?
Does it want coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. There was 3 years where I walked into this studio every time.
Listen to how casually you just said 3 years.
About 3 years, from 26 to 29 years old, that I walked into the studio every day and wondered, how the fuck am I going to get through this podcast?
Yeah. I know, and you would say that at the beginning, and we'd be like, oh, good.
But we always had a good time.
We had a great time, and I think we were...
I don't remember any of it.
We were so silly. Yeah, I know. We were so silly because you were just everything's funny. Everything's because your brain is just chemical soup.
I still think I would have found Smart Insider Man as funny, tired or not. But that was peak exhausted years.
That was freaking funny.
And apparently,
if I do say so myself,
Evan Huber, that is his next thing. He's gonna animate the whole thing though, because that's
8 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it took him 5 months to do the last one.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he was working on just that.
Yeah.
Morning, noon, and night.
But Evan, by the way, please, if you can, spare a coffee for Evan. He's got actually a link, a coffee.
Yeah, KO-FI. And if you look up Evan, EVAN, Huber, HUBER, it's basically a site where you can sort of donate a coffee to creators, and a coffee is $3, and you can choose to donate more than one coffee.
Yeah.
So, donate some, give him some shekels.
Yeah, if you can.
Because he's freaking great. If you want more animated stuff, give him some money, because it makes it easier to do that stuff.
Yeah, honestly, we're honored to have Kevin. We're honored to have Evan do that, because
we're honored to have Dave.
No, it was coffee and Evan, so I mixed it and made it into Kevin. Well, it's funny because he nails the way things actually are on the show too.
I love when he made you throw your head back laughing and you look like a Charlie Brown character.
Yeah, I'm just all teeth.
Yeah, just
sorry, go ahead. I was gonna bring up Fedor Gadiv. Where were you going?
Fedor Gadiv.
What do you think of that situation? So he punched a linesman?
Yeah, and it's a little bit difficult without you being able to see it. I think I retweeted it this morning, but basically, Fedor Gadiv, Leaf prospect, him of Fedor Gadiv forever fame, 5th round pick of the Leafs, while playing for the Flint Firebirds, got into a conflict with probably the world's tallest person, because the guy who was punching him was taller than him, and Fedor Gadiv's 6'5".
So he's the world's tallest person because that's how things work.
The world's tallest
I'm
person.
offended for us tall people.
Well, and keep in mind, everyone in that league is like 16 to 20. So we're talking about like a 6'7" or 6'8" teenager.
Who is the world's tallest
Who's
person.
the world's tallest person.
Yes.
Yes. Jesse, like, like, am I stepping on your turf or something?
I think you should respect us tall people.
Oh,
and
you
not-
talls.
And not just refer to any tall person as the world's tallest person.
No,
'Cause
okay.
that is a little offensive to our people.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Okay. I apologize.
Not forgiven, but thank you.
Wow. All right. Well, I'll work
Continue.
I need to work on myself.
Yes.
I'll be better.
Before you get canceled.
Yes.
Continue.
Yes. So anyway, Fedor Gudiev gets punched by this guy, and then someone else jumps in, and like basically Gordiev's being wailed on by two people, and the one guy won't stop punching him. But there's two refs involved, and Gurdiev takes a swipe. Listen, if Gurdiev did it on purpose, he should be suspended forever. But he went to throw a punch. Maybe someone was grabbing his sleeve or something, and he just clocks a linesman right in the face. And that's the Ontario Hockey League. He's going to be gone for a little bit. I think Fedor Gurdiev is going to be suspended.
But if you're
big.
Leafs management, you look at that and go, well, I mean,
What? See, so that's very, very interesting. If you're a draft pick and you're in the middle of something big, like a big conflict like this, does Kyle Dubas make a phone call to Dave Branch of the OHL? And go,
I wouldn't think Kyle Dubas would get involved in that. But I
No.
definitely think he's probably talking to Fedor Gurdiev's agent going, listen, we reviewed the tape. We know it was a mistake. You're going to have to take your punishment or whatever, but just know that, like, you know, we understand what happened. It was seemed like a mistake.
I don't think he was in the wrong. Yeah, no, he was getting punched by two guys.
Yeah.
Two refs.
If I'm Leafs management, I'm calling his agent just to go, listen, take your suspension and take it quietly. Just sit out what you can sit out. But we reviewed the tape and we don't see malice.
Refs need to do a better job of making those things black and white. Do you have the guy or not?
Yeah.
Do you have both arms or not? If you got one arm, you don't have them. Grab the other arm or get out of the way. Get out of there. Because you're going to get decked. What did you expect? You're in the middle of a hail of flying fists and you strangely got hit by one. Do you have the guy or not? If you don't have him, take a step back. If you want to punish them for not cooperating with you, you deal with that after. But in the meantime, get the hell out of the way.
Yep.
Fedor Gurdiev forever.
True. Jim Light's follow-up. We had a lot of response to Jim Light's comments, as everybody did. You know, anybody that talked about it, and Jim Lights himself, I'm sure, had a lot of comments. The
Shapiro, by the way. Remember there was
Sean
Shapiro? It's Shapiro. I got to talk to him on Hockey Central Saturday.
So Jim Lights was responded to, I guess. This is not the most eloquent way to put it. But the NHLPA issued a statement, and so did Jim Nill. And I thought this was interesting. So let's start with the NHLPA statement, which I believe had some teeth. The NHLPA said this.
Some teeth.
Give me a second here. The computer is frozen, so I can't get this to go, but I'm going to figure it out. Hang on. I thought that Jim Nill's response was pretty sad.
Yes.
And since this webpage is frozen on me, I'm going to go with Jim Nill's response.
Okay.
First off, the hockey message by Jim, as in Jim Lights, was dead on. I think the message had to get out there. We've all got to be better, from management to the coaches, all the way down. We've got to be better. So the message was right. I talked to Jim. I don't condone the language or the tone. He's emotional. He wears the star on his heart. He's got emotional and understandably. He got emotional and understandably, so I don't condone that. But the message that was sent from him and management was dead on correct. I agree with all of that. And this is the fucking horseshit comment.
Yeah, we had to dance around it on Hockey Central Saturday. Rob Pizzo came up with plucking horse spit.
I like that.
Yeah, I like it too. I mean, Don occasionally swears when he comes on the show, but we decided to censor ourselves. But, I mean, with the nil comments, I was just like, this is a pain in the ass for everyone involved. Absolutely everyone. Poor Jim. Like, I just feel like everyone was blindsided by this, except for ownership.
Well, it seemed like a conversation that Jim Lights and Tom Galley already had, and that no one else was aware of. Which is, if you have an organization, like you look
So Jim, they talked about firing you. What are your thoughts?
You're talking about publicly firing you. You're talking about a brand, right? The Dallas Stars are a brand within a brand. The bigger brand. The overarching brand, not the bigger brand, but the overarching brand is the NHL. But the Dallas Stars are a brand within that brand.
Yeah.
If you're a brand like Nike, you're a brand within the sneaker company brands, although you're not owned by them, right?
Okay.
If Nike CEO comes out and says, LeBron shoe sales need to be better.
Yeah, LeBron
and Michael Jordan.
Better. Yeah.
Do you think LeBron's going to take well to that? Do you think they're going to be okay with that? Nike's message is never about the performance of their shoe sales. Nike's message is about driving home the message of what Nike stands for.
Yeah.
And what unfortunately managers, I think, a lot of the times, I think NBA managers are way better at this. You are trying to put forth values, things that you can't really quantify that associate with your team, like the Philadelphia Flyers, the Broad Street Bullies thing. Boston with the tough, gritty. Boston reflects their city, right? They do a great job of doing that. The Dallas Stars just went and said, "Wow, we're all really bad at this because our star players aren't performing, and we can't figure that out."
What is it with hockey? And the negative feedback is always try harder. It's okay. Shit, thanks, Coach.
I didn't think about that.
Thanks, Coach. It's always try harder. Yeah? Is that the issue here?
Yeah.
Oh. Dude, man, you're wasted on hockey. You're wasted on... You should go be a consultant somewhere else. You should just walk into every office. Walk into Goldman Sachs. Try harder.
Coffee is for tryhards.
Oh, man, you should be an aide in the Trump administration.
Oh, man.
Listen, you want that wall? Try harder. And he's just going to go, holy shit, you're right.
Wow.
I'm the president.
The NHLPA statement on Jim Light's comments. The comments Jim Light's made regarding Tyler and Jamie are both reckless and insulting. If players directed such comments towards management, how would those be regarded? Good point. Mm-hmm. Yeah. To say that Jim Light's conduct is unprofessional would be a gross understatement. In professional sports, all individual players and teams go through highs and lows, but this is not how professionals handle adversity, which is a short way to say what we said, which is these are ridiculous and the Stars are embarrassing.
Well, and some people...
Stars management are embarrassing.
Yeah, and some people were like, well, really, did you need that? Yeah, that's the NHLPA's job.
Yeah. Also, credit to Nick Kypreos, who made the exact same argument on Headlines on Saturday when he said, what if a player said this to an owner? And it's so true.
There were not a lot of Jim Light's defenders in hockey media because it's a ton of former players. Mm-hmm. And I had the chance to talk to Louis DeBrusque about it, who obviously played in the NHL. His son Jake is in the NHL. And an enemy of the Toronto Maple Leafs, bastard. But, it's just so ridiculous. It's such a... It's
what did
so
Louis say?
Over the top. Well, I was like, what would you have? How would you have received that news? And I think the subtext was, well, Jesus, dude, I'm not Jamie Benn or Tyler Seguin, but it was also like, I wouldn't appreciate it. Like, none of this is motivating.
It was
and
interesting.
The Stars won their next game 5-1, and
they're still in a playoff spot.
Still in a playoff spot.
Yeah.
But Jim Lights, remember what we said? If they win, he wins. If they lose, he's right.
Is Anton Khudobin ever going to have a better game than a 49-save shutout?
No.
And no one talked about it. No one talked about it. Career highlight. Mm-hmm. No one's going to talk about it.
Career Jim Light.
There was a very
Jesse Blake.
There was a very interesting exchange, and I'm remembering Headlines. I did watch it on Saturday between Nick Kypreos and Elliot Friedman.
I want you to
go back and I want you to go back and the swearing. Because Kypreos said, what would happen if players made the same comments? And Elliot said, well, it's not the swearing that bothers me. And you could see Kypreos going like, well, no, it's not about the swearing. It's about the message. And Elliot Friedman kind of took the camera from there because they've got limited time on Headlines to get to it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see them actually kind of hash that out because Elliot Friedman made it about the swearing. It's not about the swearing. Yeah. And Nick Kypreos said that. It's not about the swearing.
I think he in a sense, he misunderstood the point. Like,
I don't think Elliot misunderstood the point.
There was no time to really talk about it. it was just kind of, okay, Nick, why are you focusing on the swearing? I don't think that's the point. But Nick was like, no, it's about what if they just said this to the owner?
I really don't.
There's no conversation there.
Do not believe for a second that Elliot Friedman misunderstood that. I think he didn't want to get into it.
Well, there was really no time to.
Yeah.
Well, I don't blame him for that, because if he has an opinion, he's not going to get it out.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, the issue with
TV. They should have him on 31 Thoughts, and then they can hash it out. I'd love to see the two of them go out, because I think
that'd be great.
Elliot's got a lot of connections in management and hockey, right?
He is
pretty good point. He texted Tom Gagliardi and got a statement for Sportsnet from Tom Gagliardi for headlines.
He has a good idea of. He does a good job with emotions.
I would love to see the two of them kind of go player perspective, guy who's management, and I mean, listen, Elliot Friedman's probably one of the most connected people in hockey. He knows the players, he knows the managers. He's a very fair reporter. I'm not trying. I would just love to see them come at it from their different perspectives and go, but what about this? But what about that? I'd love to see a 10-minute conversation on that.
You know where that can happen? On the Steve Dangle podcast.
Yeah, we're willing to facilitate. We'll just be over here.
Yeah, we just have them in the room, invite them both on, and then just not talk. Because let them talk.
I'd love to have Nick Kypreos' uncensored feelings on this. I think Kypreos would be another guy. Like, I think it was brilliant to put Merrick and Friedman together. But another guy that I'd love to see, there's two guys. I'd love to see Kypreos have his own podcast, and I'd love to see Chris Johnson have his own podcast. Because Chris is so good every time he's on here. And I'm like, that guy needs a show.
I think to facilitate that, you definitely.
I don't know that they do a show together.
31 Thoughts would be great, because Merrick's greatest gift is his memory, but also his void of shit giving.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Doesn't care. He'll ask that question, doesn't care about. He addresses the elephant in the room. I love it. I heard that the Raptors, Nick Nurse, he had like a giant elephant painted in the room at training camp or whatever. Basically, like, as long as I'm head coach, whenever there's an elephant in the room, like, I want it discussed. I don't want us to go home. Which I got to imagine the elephant he was alluding to was, hey, we sort of stabbed DeMar in the back, but look, we're back.
Don't say that.
They didn't stab DeMar in the back.
They stabbed him right in the face.
They
like, get out of here. Yeah. Get to the NBA Finals and win the Eastern Conference.
But if you're Kyle Lowry, how do you think he felt, right? Stab my
Kyle Lowry is a great basketball player, but I wouldn't call Kyle Lowry rational.
No, but this is the thing.
Like, he's often not rational. That's why he's mad.
I'm talking about a room that has Nick Nurse and Kyle Lowry.
We understand your point.
Yeah.
It's just the discussion is the Raptors did no wrong.
No, yeah, people.
I'm not questioning.
We get your there's an elephant and it's cool and stuff, but we have Kawhi, so shut up.
Jesse likes my point.
I think he understands. He gets your point. But I think the reason Kyle Lowry's often plays with an edge is because he finds reasons to be mad, and that's when he's at his best. Yeah. That's Kyle.
He just doesn't do it all on Twitter like another athlete in Toronto who might be getting traded very soon. I'm talking about you, Tyler Bozak. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, Marcus Stroman is on his way.
Oh, Adam, I didn't say his name. I think
no, Marcus Stroman is. Marcus Stroman is a hilarious
characters.
Height doesn't measure tweets.
Yes. What were we talking about?
We're just talking about the fact that the star situation. We're talking about the Friedman and Kypreos back and forth. I'm curious to see where this goes. I don't think this moves the needle for the Stars. I think Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin are going to be better because they are better than what they've shown. Yeah. But what's unfortunate is that when they do get better, somebody out there is going to attribute it to Jim Lights' comments rather than Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn being great hockey players.
And that person is going to be wrong.
Right, but a lot of people are going to believe that person.
Well.
And they'll make a movie about it. No, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those, like, Jim Lights he wears his star on his heart.
Brutal.
What a terrible quote that is.
And you see Jamie Benn basically like, well, I don't play for him, sort of. And then he was. You need to listen to the audio. It can't be hard to find. So there were two things I noticed. You know how there's like old Tyler Seguin and current Tyler Seguin?
Yep.
Current Tyler Seguin is like an adult.
Yeah.
he's a lot more reserved. And then someone goes, so Tyler, what are your thoughts on Jim Light's comments or whatever? And he goes, what are my thoughts? Well, I think The old him came out for a sec, and he went whoop, 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 bring it back.
Bring it on back. Yep.
Jamie Benn was long, contemplative silences. How do I say this? How do I get my point across and not make this more of a thing that it already is? But the one thing he did say was, well, I don't play for him. And then he quickly was like, I play for the guys in the room. I play for the... And he just went very hockey. But
Play for the fans.
Oh, if Jim Lights was on the other... If Jim Lights was on the Detroit Red Wings that night, I think there would have been a murder. And that's not a great way to be, man. I don't think you want your employees to hate you.
Switching gears for a sec. Not for a sec. We're going to just switch gears. Alan Walsh tweeted again yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Bringing the hits always.
He said, many people in Calgary have been reaching out asking why Michael Frolik is a healthy scratch. Keeping one of the team's most efficient and versatile forwards in the stands marginalizes and devalues a great team player. Head coach's attempt to run a good player out of town? ?
Edmonton needs a forward, Alan. I know it's all the same money to you, but Edmonton needs a forward. You think that's the best place for your client? All right.
Jeff O'Neill responded. He's like, or maybe he's just not playing good.
Did he?
Yeah. No. Like, here's the thing.
Wow.
Is it advisable when you have a client on the first place team in their division? And I believe maybe they're not first in the West, but they're first place team in the division.
Pacific, yeah.
Is it advisable when you've got a first place team to go tweeting about the fact that your client, who's still getting the paycheck, isn't playing?
He doesn't give a shit.
What's the point? What possible gain could there be?
How much time is left on Frolik's contract? Like, is this a contract year?
I don't know. Let's have a look.
Because
it must be.
Man, you're talking about dollars and cents at that point. You're talking about dollars and cents. Dude, like, Vegas went to the Stanley Cup final last year.
He's got another year.
Okay. So he's still got a year left?
Yeah.
He has a modified no movement, though, at 4.3 through 2020.
Yeah, maybe he should shut up then. I don't know. But looking in a year into the future, I guess, if he doesn't nip this in the bud now, he's going to affect the amount of money his client can get
Later
next
on.
year.
Right.
But I was about to say, so Vegas made the Stanley Cup final last year. Thomas Tatar was part of that. But, you know, his name was mud because he didn't play in every game. So if the Sharks have a nice long Stanley Cup run, but Frolik doesn't play, it doesn't do anything for the bottom line, the dollars and cents, which is what Alan Walsh is there for. And maybe, I mean, I don't think he's a moron getting on Twitter and just spouting off without his client's permission. Michael Frolik's probably unhappy.
Well, yeah.
That's probably where this comes from.
For sure. But
I don't think he was Jim Light's blindsided. The Flames are fucking horseshit.
The key thing in this...
Also, yeah, Flames. You said Sharks.
Yeah.
I did?
You did say Sharks.
5-4.
The key thing in this for me is that...
Where did I get Sharks?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Pacific, maybe? I don't know.
Furland? I don't know. The key thing in this, for me, is that he's a terrific team player, according to Alan Walsh. Which, to me, isn't that bare minimum? Shouldn't you be?
People use...
Right?
We need to make a list of really shit people say for people who don't bring much to the table.
Jesse, we were talking about this the other day. Oh, he's a really nice guy, though.
Well, shouldn't everybody just be nice on baseline?
Is it hard to be nice? No, not really.
You know what compliment I always got? There was a lot of criticism, really? If Steve just applied himself. That means tell your son, sit the fuck down and shut up in class.
You know, I got that too, but I didn't sit down and focus because I wasn't interested.
Maybe
straight out.
Michael
I
Frolik
focus on
doesn't
stuff
like
I'm interested in. And I think that's the human condition. So in school sense, it's like, well, yeah, they used to say Adam could be a straight A student if he would just apply himself. Well, no, I'm not going to apply myself to math.
Yeah, you never get feedback. Your son is a soulless robot.
But he sure makes good...
Yeah.
He sure regurgitates information well.
So
really
like
well.
The team player thing, that should just be...
That should be bare minimum.
Team player,
it should be like,
yeah.
He's in the NHL. He's good at hockey.
Your
Try
cap
hard.
is $4.3 million. You're one of the higher paid players on the team. You should be a team player.
That's not a compliment. That's a thing.
Good stick.
Good stick. Yeah.
Compete level.
It's funny. Back when we had Steve Simmons on and he talked about the good stick comments,
About Bozak, right?
Yeah, and I mean, he coaches, I think, at a relatively high level. Like, part of me was definitely like, maybe, I don't know, maybe he's saying something that I'm just not seeing. And, like, the more I've learned about the sport, I'm like, good stick is such a shitty way to put it. Like, I understand what he meant now, but, like, man, there's so many. You know who's got a great stick? William Nylander. And what do I mean by that? He's good at creating neutral zone turnovers. Just say that. Like, he's good at picking off zone exits.
Describe exactly what he does.
Yeah.
Instead of just this general thing that could be applied to anything.
Use 5 or 6 more words.
You see, the thing is, when you stick to generalities, nobody can pin you down on an opinion. So you can never be wrong.
No, but you're more right. Like, that's the thing. He wasn't wrong.
But if that ever changes...
No, but
he said Bozak had a good stick, which I think was wrong.
Stick to generalities.
Yeah.
Because then you can't be proven wrong.
Yeah.
Patrick Laine's got a good stick. He uses it to score a shitload of goals.
So does Ovechkin.
Well, yeah, because if you say that about anybody, then you're right.
It's like anybody that's a student of the game. Does that mean...
like what's his face from the what's his face who was looking at tape on Christmas?
Oh, Josh Johnson.
Student of the game.
Yeah. Like, I understand doing your research and watching film, and like, but does student of the game mean that you have a Pierre Maguire sense of like where everybody played at one point? Yeah. Are you reading Steve Dangle's book and that makes you a student of the game? Like, what is it? What is it that makes you a student of the game?
I don't know.
Hockey IQ. What is that?
Like,
I don't know.
And it's always players that are bad. That have high hockey IQ. It's not the guys that nobody's looking at like Sidney Crosby's hockey IQ because it's a given.
Hockey IQ is like self-explanatory, I think, when the player actually has it. You know what I mean?
Then why apply it to players that don't?
With good players, you describe what they're actually good at.
That's what you should do.
You should.
No, but like
say,
no one.
He's good at zone exits. He's really good at back checking.
No one would
he has
waste
a great
time.
shot.
Well,
like
but what I'm
describe something
saying-
he's actually good at.
What I'm saying though is no one would waste time saying Evgeny Kuznetsov has a high hockey IQ. They just go, holy shit! You see that?
But usually
Man,
the
he
guys
had a
that
pass
make you
on
say,
Saturday? Holy shit.
Usually the guys that make you say holy shit are the guys with the high hockey IQ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're all NHL players, so I'm sure they all have a good hockey
Yeah,
IQ.
I would imagine. I would imagine.
I don't know.
One
still-
might think-
That upsets me.
Jesse, look up Paul Bissonnette's stats from when he was in England during the lockout.
Oh, that'd be
Or
fun.
Wales, I think. Holy shit.
Where did he play? He played
I want to say Cardiff? Was it
Cardiff Devils. He had 6 goals, 13 assists, 19 points in 10 games.
It's Paul Bissonnette.
Paul Bissonnette.
Like,
I'm actually surprised it's only that.
Yeah, and only 19
Why is
points.
it more? Why isn't it more?
like the worst. Well, not where. I mean, he had his role in the NHL, but
He's not Patrick
He
Collette
calls
bad.
himself a plug, right? Yeah. Oh man, he goes to England though. He goes to Wales.
Biz nasty.
Big score.
Biz nasty.
Yeah.
He must have loved that. That must have been fun for him.
He's playing
going
with
in
a bunch of people not as good as him.
Yeah, but that must. Yeah, it would have been great.
Drink.
That sounds awesome.
That's like, hey, Adam, we're going to send you back to high school today to go play hockey.
oh,
Go have fun.
I would still be pretty bad. Still be
He would just
relatively
bully
bad.
people in
That'd be
front of
fun.
it. I mean, just drink 4 heavy warm beers before every game and put up 3 points.
Gross. Shall we do the
Not all of them.
Shall we do the press conference?
We shall.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
All right. We got a question from... Where's the
Paul
question?
B.
Hands full of mush on Reddit. Hands full of mush wants to know.
Ew.
I've seen some people saying that Dermott and Ozhiganov need to communicate better. How big of a factor might a language barrier play?
Now,
If any.
Oceanov doesn't speak English.
Yeah, I got to imagine it's at least partially a factor because, I mean, even if you're just learning it and they tell you a few words or whatever, doesn't it have to go through a filter? A little bit?
Yeah.
Like, I was never good at French, but, like, even the stuff I did know, it took me a sec. Like, when they would say left or right, which I don't even remember anymore, it would take me a sec to go, okay, that way. But in hockey, you don't have that split second.
No. Split second is when you should be doing the thing.
Which, this is, I don't know how good of an idea this is, but
It's always a good way to start off an idea.
Well, so on the top pair, they have two left-handed defensemen, and Riley and Hainsey. And when they want to score a goal, they go with two different left-handed defensemen. They go with Riley and Gardner, and sometimes it's Riley and Dermott. They don't care as much about handedness as they say. Why not do Zaitsev Ozhiganov a little bit? And you could even try... This is a little rec league, not National Hockey League, but you know what? Screw it. We're about to enter January, not the playoffs. Might as well get it out of the way now. Zaitsev knows English.
Yep.
Right? First and third period, they're on a pair together, and they talk in Russian. Second period, Zaitsev barks all the orders out in English.
Warm him up.
Man, try something, because that pairing's trash now.
You know why that won't happen, though, is they're both right-handed. So that's this match.
Yeah, well, he just made the argument about they don't really care about.
I don't think it matters that much, man.
It matters to Babcock.
No. All evidence suggests that no, it doesn't.
To him?
If it mattered that much, Zaitsev would be on the top pair, or Ozhiganov, or Justin Hall would be in the lineup. You know, I don't think it matters to him. And with Team Canada, it mattered until he had a shitload of really good right-handed D, and then
it matters until it doesn't matter.
Yeah, which means it doesn't matter.
You know what's unfortunate about it too is that when Dermott, who is very clearly a better player than probably all the guys on defense, with the exception of Gardner and Riley,
probably their third best defenseman.
When he is not, when he's with a guy that it's not clicking, it makes him look bad. And Mike Babcock's very much this guy who's like, you got to come in, you got to steal somebody's opportunity.
Yeah, and he's looked poor for a couple weeks now, man.
And Dermott is a guy that should have already stolen Ron Hainsey's job. Should have stolen it already.
Yeah, it's.
I don't
how
understand.
Many guys has Babcock actually been like, you did it, you leapfrogged him, and you got that job.
Kapanen? Janssen?
Yeah, when Matt Martin got benched.
Yeah, man. No, he has.
Yeah, okay.
100%.
All right. Fair.
I mean, even this year we've seen Kapanen was until like Nylander not being there and then a couple injuries, pole vaulted Kapanen forward. And he took advantage.
Kapanen was a bit of a victim of the. He was able to be sent down last year, which is why he wasn't with the team to start the season.
But he was going to be on the fourth line. Like he was playing behind Connor Brown and Zach Hyman. Guys who are clearly not better hockey players.
I like to see the Leafs try more. Trevor, that is. I'd like to see...
Oh, not just try harder?
Yeah. No. Oh, yeah. I'd like to see them try harder. Yeah, I want to see them... Like, I was on a Good Show with Ben Ennis and JD Bunkus, and Ben Ennis was saying, oh, you should try this pair, that pair, you should do this, do that. And I made the comparison a couple days ago. I still think no matter what, you need about $2.50, and I think the best this defense can provide you is a toonie. Yeah, I still think they need a move. They need an Alex Petrovich. No.
I think Pietrangelo.
Alex Petrovangelo. And then you take your pick. You imagine that was the mistake ChiaREALLY made? I got who? Peter, you knucklehead. And they just start doing all the Three
Starts
Stooges
hitting him with a newspaper.
Last thing. Did you guys see last night in the Swiss-Russia game?
Yes.
2 penalty shots were awarded on one single play.
I love it.
Yeah?
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I love it.
I thought it was kind of dumb.
How do you do that,
It is, but okay. So, you saw the play.
Yeah,
Okay, tell me what happened in the play.
So, basically, a Swiss player had a breakaway. Russian player tripped him. Ref's arm went up or whatever. Swiss player gets up. Continues skating. Russian player trips him again. Keeps skating. I don't know if he ended up getting the shot off.
Yeah, so he gets like I have the video right here.
Oh, okay.
So he gets like a little shot
Here
off.
it is. So he's tripped, gets up, tripped.
That
was a bit of a dive.
The goalie pokes it away, so
tripped,
there's no real shot
gets
on
up,
it.
Tripped, and yeah, he doesn't get the shot off.
The goalie pokes it away.
That's the right call then.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So let's pretend the Russian player's positioning is a little different. He's right beside him.
Mm-hmm.
He trips him. So it's a tripping call.
Yeah.
Then he gets up.
Yeah.
And he trips him again.
No, you're right.
He trips him.
Yeah, yeah. Because you can get 2 penalties even though there's a delayed delight penalty.
Yeah, like it's
No, you're
super weird, and it's, believe me, it's my knee-jerk reaction to be like, damn, double IHF refs,
Yeah.
they don't know shit. But
no,
I love
it's the right
it.
call. Yeah.
I think
It's two
great.
infractions.
You mean they're actually calling what happened on the ice?
Yeah.
Rather than going, well, we can only give you one because it's only fair. I like it.
The kicker, he missed both shots.
He missed both. You imagine he scores both?
That'd be awesome.
That's the one thing I would say about that's wrong is that player who had the breakaway was not about to score 2 goals on that breakaway. That's not how that works.
Right.
Yeah.
So
He didn't have 2 chances
So maybe
to score
This
2
isn't
goals.
money puck.
Maybe it's a penalty call and a 2-minute minor.
yes, that's what I think it should have been. It should have been 2
Yeah.
somethings, but not 2 penalty shots.
Yeah.
What? He didn't have a shot at 2 goals on that play.
Interesting.
So that to me is what's
But there are 2
ridiculous about it.
infractions on the play,
But he
so you got
didn't
to do
have
something.
he didn't have 2 breakaways. He had 1 breakaway that got interrupted 2 times.
Or
Yes.
maybe a 5-on-3. Is that
no,
even
one of
more
them
fair?
needs to be a
What-
penalty shot.
That's it's funny. The Russian player puts the ref in a tough position. Like he's got one of those infractions at least has to be a penalty shot because it was a penalty shot.
Did
It
the
was from
Swiss
behind.
team win, by the way?
I don't think they did. I think Russia won.
Yeah, I think we lost that game.
It's weird. All I've seen online is people criticize how Russia's been playing, and I'm pretty sure they're 3-0.
In the World Juniors?
Yeah, I guess they're just expected to be so much better.
No, I'm. Well, that's Spengler, isn't it? Or is that World Junior?
No, I thought that was World Junior.
What?
Was that Spengler or World Junior?
I think it was
This
World
happened in
Junior.
the World Junior.
Oh, it did. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Spengler, Kalpa won the Spengler today. First Finnish team to ever win the Spengler Cup. Adam's super jacked about it. Jesse, can you look up who's on the Spengler Cup champions? I want to know.
You want me to read the?
Yeah, I want to know if there's any. Hey, that guy. Because it's
So
weird.
who won?
Kalpa.
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 By the way, Metallurg Magnitogorsk was at the tournament, and
They were?
Yeah,
and they lost.
Oh yeah, That's embarrassing.
Not Magnitka. No, niet.
I know, crazy, right?
Used to have the best line in hockey for a very short amount of time.
Who was it again?
During the lockout, it was Evgeny Malkin centering Nikolai Kulemin and Sergei Mozakin, who's like, I think he might be the KHL's all-time leading scorer. Former 7th or 8th round pick of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Never came over.
Just never wanted to.
Never wanted to.
There's a couple KHL guys who just never wanted to come over.
Oh, every league, well, most leagues in Europe are full of guys who were good enough for the NHL who just never made it. You know, who do we got, Jesse? We got.
So
I want
what's,
to see.
how
wanna
many
see if
guys?
I
Ooh, this is
recognize a single name.
long roster.
It is.
Half the roster has their name end in nen. So Pippanen, Makanen, Liskanen, Raikkonen.
I'm not gonna
team.
lie. I don't recognize a single one of these. Oh, Tommy Jokinen. I wonder if he's related.
A lot of Finnish players.
Alex Ruutu,
One Canadian, Ryan Wilson.
who is 31.
On
Yeah,
the
sorry.
Finnish team?
This is not as fun as I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's a club team.
Yeah, there's not enough.
Oh, Cade Fairchild. I have his rookie card.
There you go.
He was drafted by the St. Louis Blues.
Hey, you know who the Edmonton Oilers could use?
Cade Fairchild.
No.
Kate Fairchild.
They could use a veteran defenseman like Jason Garrison, who's now on waivers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if they're going to get him back.
By the way, Kajula and Garrison both were not at practice today for the Blackhawks. I'm not sure what that means for Kajula, but Garrison is on waivers for sure, confirmed by Elliot Friedman just
Maybe
minutes ago.
Flippy? No, and by the way, about Garrison, he
Not
hasn't-
an NHL player.
No, which is weird. He was so good for a period of time.
Wasn't he good for Vegas last year? What did he play for? He played for Vegas. I know that.
No, he was mostly in the minors or a healthy scratch. He was wicked for, it was either Tampa or Vancouver.
He was great in Vancouver.
Yeah, he scored
Yeah.
like 20 goals or something like
Yeah.
that. No, he was real good.
Yeah, he's 34. That's the new sort of
Man.
age where it starts to fall off.
Some players, you get that one injury that slows you down a bit and you didn't have speed to sacrifice and you're just done. Done.
I do hope that Edmonton claims Jason Garrison. I really hope.
Amen.
Oh my
God,
God,
I
that would
want
be
it.
great. Anyway, that's the show for today. We're going to do another one on Friday after the Leafs' next game, which is Thursday night. Who is that against? Carolina? Columbus?
Yes. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm excited to have
I
a few
can
days
tell
off.
you. in 1 second.
I'm
They
sure for
played
you
the
it's nice.
Minnesota Wild. Oh, that's the fun game. That's the 2 p.m. game.
Okay, so why are they doing that?
I don't know.
That's not even a long weekend or anything. It's just a random Thursday.
It's some
Last
something
year-
game.
It's not even a holiday.
Okay, a lot of people are saying it's stupid. I'm gonna come out and defend it. Because I went to the 2 p.m. game last year that actually meant something.
Is it in Toronto?
It must be.
This? Yeah. It's
Oh
a home
man,
game.
we should go to that.
I mean, maybe. There might be tickets available because a lot of people were like, oh, what the No, I'm not going.
I want to go.
But dude, we got out of the game at like 5 o'clock. Like it's weird to get out of an NHL game and be like, you want dinner?
It's the next
Wanna go get
gen
dinner?
game. That's the
The
game.
next gen game.
The next gen game. On Thursday, January 3rd, the next generation of Leafs fans are taking over when the Maple Leafs host the Minnesota Wild, and we want you to join in on the fun. The next gen game, presented by Scotiabank, is a special 2 p.m. afternoon game all about celebrating the fun that is the game of hockey.
So
There are
it's a-
different ways you can get involved. You can get involved by playing the Dangle and Dash game on the Leafs, which you can find in the App Store.
I'm suing.
Nothing to do with Steve Dangle. You
Nothing.
can give the gift of hockey by donating something. You can view the viewing party at Real Sports Bar and Grill. You can join Club Maple Leafs. You can buy some of the Next Gen collection.
I'm going to buy a stupid amount of that gear.
There you go. There's a whole bunch of
It's-
fun stuff going on.
It's like 8-bit Leafs
They,
on the jerseys.
On the Next Gen game homepage, all of the players there are Fortnite characters. And
it looks amazing.
It's not really Fortnite characters, but they're designed exactly like the Fortnite
If I was the
characters.
Leafs marketing, I would for sure buy Fortnite skins.
That would be an NHL thing.
I mean, that's basically what
the,
this is.
The NFL just did a collaboration where
Oh, it was so
you
great.
get all the jerseys in Fortnite, and the NHL would have to do the same thing.
Funny enough, the younger the player, the more they look like a Fortnite character.
Yeah,
It's true.
it's kind of awesome.
Mitch Marner is literally like I think there's a reason he's standing the most far forward because he's the most like a child.
That's a great
Ignoring
picture.
the fact that Matthews is actually younger, he's a deadie.
right.
We know he's a bit of a deadie. That's interesting because last year the 2 o'clock game was basically 100 years to the moment that the Leafs played their first game, but they started the game by having all these kids come out, and like kids were on the bench as coaches, and they were on the ice as players, and
probably
they had
do the
kid
same
refs.
Cool.
So yeah, I guess they're going to do the
That'd
same
be
thing.
fun.
It's I don't know. I'm for it. Like I've always said, I'm jealous of the West Coast for their hockey night in Canada starting at 4.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the best. When I was in Calgary, it started at 5, and you'd watch the Leaf game, and it's 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you go out. And then I remember there was a bar that we used to go to, Hudson's. They would run Hockey Night in Canada, and then once Hockey Night in Canada wrapped up at around 10:30, like the last game
The whole
would be
thing
done.
is done. Wow.
Then they'd flip it over to a club. So it was a pub, and they went bingo. Like
It
within
sounds-
10 minutes, it goes to a club.
It sounds like the best.
It was great. It was really great. And you're watching hockey like you're still doing stuff around the house, but there's something on. Whereas like you have to wait till like 6:30 where Hockey Central Saturday comes on, and like you get to you watch
Damn
the
right.
half an hour. Yeah, I mean you're watching that beforehand and being all excited, but like most of your chores are done. Whereas I liked having that stuff on when I was doing chores.
Yeah.
So I'd watch the game. The Leafs always kind of sucked back then anyway.
Early
And,
in the
like,
season and late in the season, it's still sunny out
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. Well, especially in Alberta where in
because
Calgary
it's so far north.
it's like, well, in Edmonton, it's sunny till like 11 at night.
Oh wow.
And like, and I remember in Calgary, like the sun wouldn't set till 10:30 at night. It was amazing because it's higher up, right?
So after my shift on Saturday night, I went downstairs to the restaurant to hang out with a couple from Scotland, who I met when I was in Aberdeen.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy, he's an Aberdeen Lynx supporter, which is their like tier 3 UK league or whatever it is.
Yeah.
He
Is
gave-
it EFL or is it Scottish? Because there's difference, right?
Ooh, I know it's a lot of Scottish teams. I don't know if I think this one might just be Scotland.
Okay.
But he literally gave me the sweater off his back,
Wow.
like his Aberdeen Lynx sweater, and that's I've worn it here like a bunch of times.
That's
I can't
pretty
remember where was I going with that.
I don't know.
I'm trying to. Man, that's a
Next
sign
gen, man.
the show should end. The show needs
Hey,
to
it's,
end.
you got a sweater that one
Oh
time.
no! And we were talking about. We were talking about like different parts of Canada and like how the light is different, And I'm like, by the way, that's the same country. I was talking about flying to Vancouver. I'm like, that's a 5-hour flight.
Yeah.
And they're just like,
which to them is like Greece.
what? Well, like that country top to bottom is like a 5-hour train ride.
Yeah.
And by country, I mean Scotland, which I know is wrong. Shut up.
Well, it took me from London to like Euston Station in London to Manchester, 3 hours.
Yeah, Glasgow to Aberdeen, I think, is about 3.5.
So you probably could do it in a day. You probably do it in 12 hours if you were like tip to tail. Like bottom of England, top of Scotland.
We drove top to bottom of PEI in about 45 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's like 120,000 people there. And I was funny.
Oh, way less.
I was talking to my friend Zach, who is a program director at AMP Radio in Calgary, and we were driving through, and we were listening to a top 40 station in the area, and he was taking me to PEI for the first time, and this station was like, all the jock was doing was shouting people out. And like people call in Toronto for shout outs, and we're like, we literally can't give you a shout out because we can't just give shout outs. Like if you do it for one person, you got to do it for everybody. And I'm like, this person is only doing shout outs, man. Like shout out to Jimmy at Joe's Gas, shout out to Joanne working at so-and-so insurance. Yeah. And he's like, no, you don't understand. If you want to win in PEI, you have to do that.
And you can probably hear them through the window like, oh, it's me.
Yeah, like they know each other. And if they don't know, somebody else who's listening to the station knows them. And that's what's so interesting. So he's like, it's a different world, man. They're doing the right thing here. I was like, okay, all right. You know programming.
Cow ice cream. It's good shit.
Cavendish Farms.
Potatoes. Shows on.
All right.
Happy New Year.
Bye, everybody.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panico Pizza. Order at panico.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.